Wolf, and you're listening to the MBS Show. It's awesome!
Hello and welcome to the MBS Show, episode 68. I am your host, Norman Sanzo. Joining me today is Daniel Anthony.
Hello, Norman.
How are you, Daniel?
Tired. Been a long day, but I'm ready for this.
I heard that you did some dancing. Is this true?
Yeah, pretty much choreography.
Wow, so doing any moonwalks or anything like that?
No, it's all traditional stuff. Don't get me started on I don't know what the ancestors of the people in this country were thinking when they developed those moves.
They were thinking, yo, dog, this would be like hip-hop, yo, before it was developed.
No, they thought they put a picture of me in front of a big, I don't know what, and said, this is the enemy.
Okay, let's move on then. And also joining us today, friend of the show, Jesse Carlson.
Hello.
Hey, Jesse, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Fine, thank you. It's been a while.
Yeah, welcome back.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much.
So, anything interesting happening to you that we could try and talk about?
Not a lot. I just did some collaborations with some people. One of them won't be out for a little while, and one of them actually made it onto Rainbow and Rooted. So there's that.
Oh, might take a listen soon. So anyway, joining us today, our guest for this week is Oatmeal the Foxtrot. Wait, that's not right. Give me a second. You are Soup the Eagle. No. Yeah. Here is the right name. Cyril The Wolf.
Thank you. Yes, Cyril The Wolf. I can't believe so many people get that wrong.
I don't know. There was a lot of names, and why?
I don't even have a beak.
Truly.
So thank you for having me on MBS Show.
No problem. It's our pleasure to have you on, and I've listened to your tracks, and they're awesome. Sorry, Jesse, I have to promote him for now.
Oh, it's no problem. Please do.
So anyway, how have you been doing, Cyril?
Oh, not too bad. I'm busy. Got on Rainbow and Rooted. Also did an album track for the Everfree Northwest. There's a fundraiser album going on for those guys because some of them are coming from really far away, like Replacers coming from Australia. And, some people like myself really actually just can't afford a plane ticket to get over there. And so we were just trying to see if we could raise some money for that. Oh. And so that's one thing I've been doing, and but just keeping myself really, really busy with stuff like that. And I've got a day job too, so it's all gravy.
Awesome. Well, as long as people get to hear you play live, that's awesome.
Yes. Oh, yes, and I'm going to Fiesta Equestria. It's coming Saturday, the 29th, the 28th to the 30th
that's
of
in
June.
Texas, right?
Houston, Texas. Yep. And I'm actually going to be playing guitar for Michelle Creeper, and that's fun because I'm really bad at jazz guitar, and some of those songs that she covered on her CD Timeless are very jazzy with lots of chords that my fat fingers can't seem to fret.
So turn it up a little.
Wow, okay.
Hey, that's the good part with jazz, man. If you just play some wrong notes, just make them extra notes.
Yeah.
It's like that's value for the money,
Or if you just see some long-ass chord, just be like, play the power chord. It's the universal chord of music.
And honestly, for some of these, I'm just going to be doing the root note. I will say this, I'm not a bad guitar player, I don't think, but I'm certainly a much better bassist.
Bass?
But it's really funny because in situations where you don't have a full band, guess who needs to be around more than a bass player? Guitar player. Because you can have a sequenced bass and drum part, and it's actually better to have both of those together. The only time I do that different is when I have a live show and I have like a drum track with some synth stuff with a guitar player and me playing bass and singing, which I really should stop doing. But that's another story.
We're going single player mode.
Yeah, single player mode is honestly way easier unless you have a band who can travel with you, because trying to do a pickup band is a pain in the butt. And sometimes you can manage it. I had a couple of people who I really trusted as players come for me to Cutie Mark Con, which was on the 31st of May in Cincinnati, Ohio, and that was a lot of fun. But for Fiesta Equestria, it was kind of like these guys I didn't know, and I'm didn't really have too much time to put together a package to teach them because I just don't have that kind of time. I'm too busy still creating and releasing music to keep myself current, as well as doing some stuff, personal projects that might actually make me money someday, as well as day job and my fiance. I have another person in my life I need to keep. So
You're not current because you're trying to keep yourself current.
In a way, but it's more like I can't get a band because of it. Because it's not current if I'm going back to my old stuff and making tablature. So
I don't even know how to make tabs. So you're
not tablature or even chord charts.
You mean guitar tablature and that 6 lines and numbers thingy?
Mm-hmm. Because that's 90% of what guitarists can learn. Honestly, the Kriebers gave me a chord chart. They were like, "Can you read charts?" And I was like, "Yes." They're like, "Oh, good." The only time I got scared off is when for the song Alexander's Ragtime Band. It's in jazz notation. Jazz notation's weird because you see
letters and symbols thing.
Jazz is weird because it's just chords over measures just to show which chord goes where, and they're letters. But there's a couple of different things. Like in normal chords, you'd say like A dim for A diminished, but jazzers decided to do, no, we're going to do this weird circle thing.
The little circle, right?
Circle. It's A circle. I'm like, why is it A circle?
No, that's not jazzers, though. That is a classical notation for diminished the circle.
Is that really classical? I thought that was a jazz.
The Roman numerals.
It really is.
Figured bass.
Yeah, when you're notating, chords like that, the way to do it is with the Roman numerals and the little degree symbol of the tiny circle is what you use for diminished. And if it's half diminished, as in, root, minor third, lowered fifth, and then just a regular minor seventh, then you write it with a slash through the circle. But if the seventh is also diminished, then it's the full, just regular circle.
Here's a couple of things with that, though. You're speaking of if it's Roman numerals in the context of classical. I'm talking about letter chords, which is different.
That's a very weird combination.
Yeah, because normally, and honestly, I was just re-looking it up too, and actually C dim or C circle means actually diminished seventh in jazz.
What?
Which is, and C diminished is C minus.
Wow.
I can imagine there'll be some guy reading it as G diminished. What does go mean? What is go?
Well, I mean, yeah, if you don't know what you're doing. Fortunately, I've had enough training where I'm like, oh, this is weird chord number 5. Okay, I got it.
Weird chord.
Well,
this is contort my fingers in a way that shouldn't be possible chord. Wonderful.
Oh my, that's going to be extreme.
Well, how did they do the augmented chord again?
I think it's actually just C aug, or it might be. I think in jazz it's C plus, but then there's aug.
Yeah, the plus sign is.
Oh boy. Let's move on before our listeners.
Just one last question:
Oh.
the minor chords, are they lowercase or with a lowercase m next to it?
Lowercase m.
Okay.
Okay, you know that we could just do that in the guest
I was
time.
curious.
Okay. Anyway, before we really start the show, we need to ask you the 4 important questions. And question number 1 is, who is your favorite character?
Luna.
Really now?
I thought it would be a Timberwolf.
Shut up. No. I mean, Timberwolf's not a character, Dan. Come on. Come on. Let's be real. Not yet. Yeah, right. Soon we're going to have a walking. I'm just misunderstood. Why don't people want to be my friend? That was bad.
Well, you could be Babseed.
Babseed, yeah, right. Babseed went into the woods and became a seed and grew into a Timberwolf. It's actually rather horrific. We don't like talking about it.
Okie
Creepypasta written.
Oh boy. But anyway, why Luna?
I've been a musician for a long time, and I really identify with the night. I've always had a thing for the moon, hence the wolf name. Because I've been Cyril the Wolf since before I became, a pony music producer, brony musician dude.
Yeah, I can see that on SoundCloud.
Right,
That's
yeah.
Say that because I've been Jesse Carlson for a long time too. Certainly before I was ever a musician or brony person.
Is that your legal name, Jesse?
Yes.
He changed it, man.
See, my real name isn't Cyril. My real name's Connor, so that's a different story, Jesse. So I chose my name. You were given.
Was I? Was I?
Yeah, I don't know. Did you somehow manipulate your mother's brain through the womb?
Hey, some say it could be that way.
Oh, you made me choke on my coffee. Oh, God.
Oh,
Excuse me.
this is going to be fun, I can tell. So, okay, the knight, and you've been Cyril for a long time. Okay,
Yes,
that's interesting.
Yes. And, the knight, and she's pretty.
Okay, cool. So, what's your favorite episode?
You know, it's a tie. It's actually a tie. I really like these two episodes for different reasons. And it's going to be really obvious when I say it. It's going to be really obvious when I say it, too.
Okay.
I really like Luna Eclipsed and Sleepless in Ponyville.
I wonder why.
Having a clue.
But Luna Eclipse is awesome. Luna Eclipse is awesome. Like, the whole scene where the costumes and the...
You know why?
Yeah.
You know why, Norman?
Why?
It was shot at night.
Oh yeah, that's a good one too.
It's shot at night.
I think-
Not even that. Like, honestly, I really think Luna Eclipsed was a very nice little characterization-y thing for a character I thought was really needed it. And then it was also really funny. You know, it was hecka awkward, but it was really funny. There's a lot of funny moments in it. And then Sleepless in Ponyville was just awesome for world building. Like, the concepts behind it. And I'm kind of partially a Scoots fan, too, so...
Scootaloo. Awesome. I don't know, Scootaloo is... I don't know, I think Scootaloo needs more development, seriously. She's the only pony, kid pony that doesn't have a parent yet.
Yet.
That's because she wasn't supposed to. And then,
That's the weirdest sentence I heard tonight. You don't have a parent yet?
I don't know. No, the thing is, we all know that... Sorry, the thing is, we all know that all the ponies, like even the kiddie ponies like Apple Bloom and Sweetie Belle, they have parents. Well, parents in the sense of guardians taking care of them. But Scootaloo is the only one that didn't show any parent or guardian. So it's like, what the hey is up with you?
You know, Ponyville has an old folks home. They probably have an orphanage. And poor Scoots.
Yeah, true that. But hey, fanfic writers, start on it.
That'd be like a big, serious, kind of episode to deal with. Like, what if, deal with, like, not having real parents or being adopted or something.
You know, that is, like, yeah, that would be a good episode. If you could frame it right.
Like, your family, it doesn't have to be, like, people who, squeezed you out. It can be just people who care for you and whatever.
True.
And also, too, just as a lesson of, like, if you're a kid and you have a friend who's an orphan, like, how do you deal with that? Like, I never had any orphan friends as a kid, but, who knows? Whatever. I've had people with foster homes. So it's like, it's one of those things where it's, to me, it'd be an interesting thought process.
True. And we know the writers, they can do magic.
Oh, yeah. As long as M.A. Larson or McCarthy writes it.
Indeed. Oh, and...
I mean, okay, I love the other writers, but first of all, M.A. Larson is the broest of all bros. I mean, he just is. And then M. McCarthy wrote, like, my favorite epic episodes. So.
And Amy Kitty Rogers is awesome, too. Don't forget her.
Yes, I love AKR, but I don't know if she'd be able to, like, maybe she could. Maybe she'd be the one to write a good episode on that subject without being too overbearing. It's hard to say, though. I do like AKR, though, yeah, she's great.
Well,
Am I the only one here who likes Lauren Faust's episodes, the ones that she wrote?
She only wrote
I do,
2.
but she wrote, like, 3.
3?
Yeah, those 3 are some of the best, if you ask me.
What's the third one?
Yeah. She wrote...
Last Roundup.
1 and 2, Last Roundup, and Ticketmaster, I think.
I thought Last Roundup was... Last Roundup was with the Derpy, right?
Yeah.
I thought that one was Amy Keating Rogers.
And that's actually AKR.
Oh, crap. I was thinking
AKR.
Good job. Yeah, well, I'm not going to say Amy Keating Rogers. Oh, I'm a Twitter feed. Like, syllable.
Anyway, let's move on to the next question. How did you become a fan of the show?
I was dragged into it, kicking and screaming.
Oh.
Very much against my will. No, not exactly, but pretty close. I had friends,
Unbelievable, though.
like, in June 2011, I had friends who were like, getting into it, and I was like, I honestly, at the time, I was not really watching anything. I just kind of was making music, not really even playing video games. I was like so focused on school and making music that I really couldn't be bothered to a certain extent. I mean, once in a while I'd queue up like Mega Man Zero or play some Cave Story, but other than that, it was like I didn't really have a computer for gaming. I didn't really have a next-gen console because I was spending all my money on music. So, it was just one of those things that my entertainment kind of produced itself. And so, they were like, dude, you should just watch it. Come on, like, we'll watch it. And they kept spamming me with memes in the chat we were all in on Skype, oddly enough. I was like, these are funny. And then somebody showed me Flutter Curse, or Flutter Swear, or, what was it called? Oh my gosh. It was so long ago. It was,
Flutter Step, Flutter Bounce, Flutter...
No, the one where that was originally from Ponies the Anthology, but somebody made a full version of it that was from Reggie Watts' song.
Ponyville Linebacker?
No.
I don't remember what the title of the video is.
It's basically a song with a lot of F-bombs and stuff, and it's Pinkie by beatboxing.
It was actually called What Pinkie's Song Actually Sounded Like.
That's Lil Wayne one? Or?
No, here, I'll
was
link
it Spanish?
to you.
No, it's English,
No.
It's English.
Okay.
Oh my god, Daniel, I said who made it. It was Reggie Watts. Good
This is
lord.
gonna be fun.
And the song is called Blank Blank Stack.
Oh!
Link is right there. And it's pretty well worn, but it was so good. I was like, this is okay. All right, I'll watch it. So I watched the episode it came from, which was Bridal Gossip. And I was like, we watch another? And another. I was like, and then a friend of mine brought up, and what got me into the scene of making music was just generally is that a friend of mine was like, hey, what if we do the song BYOB by System of a Down, but instead make it BYOP, Bring Your Own Ponies, and why do they always send the Colts is the first line. And I'm like, let's do this. So that's the very first pony-related thing I did, because, there wasn't, at the time, it was June 2011, no one did metal. Like, Bronified, I think, recently just released the Pony Metal Medley. But, no one was doing any vocal work at the time. And, I've never really reached an audience because my voice is very rough around the edges anyway. But, it was just one of those things that I was like, hey, no one's doing this, let me do it.
First!
And then, so yeah. Yeah, kind of. I feel like I was the first one to do it.
Was there a Nayslayer? When did Nayslayer come out?
Nayslayer was around, but I am going to withhold things on Nayslayer.
So, BYOP...
Because that was the first Brody metal artist I heard of.
Right, and they were, and they had their elements, but they weren't as, they weren't like System of a Down. They weren't the kind of metal I wanted to make,
Okay, I see.
That I always make, they were very much a power metal sort of outfit, whereas I was thinking along the lines of...
symphonic metal?
Symphonic to a certain extent. I mean, if you've heard Millennium Alone, but also just a harder, rough around the edges sort of deal, where you have the vocalists through the entire song. That's where I came from, I like metalcore a lot.
Yeah, and Norman here is a big fan of Serge Tankian, so I think he just hit his nerve right there.
Serge Tankian is like...
Oh, his vocals are so boss.
Dude, I know. And actually,
Train of thought.
I was just thinking of all the, descriptive words I usually use to use Serge Tankian, and I'm like, I can't say them on this show. Okay.
He's bucking awesome.
Yeah. Oh my god, his vocals. He's one of the first guys who got me really into, using different parts of my voice rather than just, singing operatically, but, going, using, the nose and going, and stuff like that, and then going from that, right into, something like that, but he just does it all, and he does it all with, skill, so it's great,
Yeah, it's when I first heard System of a Down, I heard Toxicity, and I was like, wait, this is not being sung in the idiot style, this is actually sung like a classically trained musician.
Right, but he goes from that classically trained, sort of deal to also just being balls to the wall.
Yeah.
That, the end part, which I can't remember the lyrics to. shoot.
Oh, it's cool. It's
But,
cool. So
you know.
anyway, let's move on because looking at the clock right now, we're just spending a lot of time talking about the intros. So the next question is, what do your family and friends think about your love for the show?
Well, my fiance didn't leave me, so that's good.
Yay!
Achievement unlocked!
Because she was, we'd been together for like 3 years before that, and so it's good to know that. She
Better
did.
get this one right.
Congratulations!
My dad was skeptical about it, and but not from a like, I think you're gay sort of thing. It was.
We need to talk.
It was more of it's cartoons. Like, why do you like it? Like, before I told him that I enjoy My Little Pony or whatever, I caught him one morning. He was watching iCarly.
Yay!
And I'm like,
Oh God, that's hilarious.
and I asked him, he's like, "You're watching iCarly?" He's like, "Yeah, it's new." I'm like, "Well,
Well, I'm watching My Little Pony is old.
And I was like watching My Little Pony, and he's like, "Oh, I don't know about that, but."
Ask Carly.
But I mean, he doesn't care because I have Devin Townsend. Oh, it was one of those things when he found it. He's like, "Yeah, you have an audience. I don't do whatever. You got to find where you can grow and get an audience and do your thing. I know you're a musician. This is what you want to do. So keep doing it." And he actually likes my album, so it doesn't. So in short, my immediate family and friends, who are the only really people I care about, don't really care. I haven't really told any of my extended family, but they can.
Okay.
Until you run into one of them at BronyCon, and then it's like, hey, Connor!
Yeah.
Yeah, well, what's you? Oh, yeah, in that case. Well, I mean, I don't keep my online persona too distant. I'm Skype, I'm Cyril The Wolf Connor. It's not too hard to find my real name if you search under Cyril The Wolf and just look around. So, if you were related to me or if you were friends with me before, and you could find me pretty easily. So, I probably wouldn't be super awkward like that. It'd probably be, hey, this is funny that we both like this brony thing. I do have a funny story about that, which I guess I can tell later if we want to move on.
Okay, sure.
Until today, I've always referred to, Cyril? The magician? No, Cyril the Wolf.
Yeah.
Boys. So,
Yeah.
One thing we haven't covered yet. What about your friends?
My friends don't care. Yeah, no, my friends, my immediate family and friends don't, care. I never really mentioned it to some of the people I played with and stuff, but, the friends I'm with who, respect me don't. They're like, hey, that's weird, but, I've been a weird guy my entire life, so it's not really that much different.
Well, it's funny you say that stuff like that, because I do the exact same thing, and even to the extent of I don't even try and hide my actual name. Such a creative username, J Carlson 04. Hey, whoa! But I don't make a big effort out of hiding it, but I also don't advertise it. I mean, if people look at all, I'm sure they'd figure it out, and then I'd be like, yeah, so what? You're into all kinds of other weird things, and some of my friends like to poke fun, but that's just because we were roommates, and that's what we do as male human beings.
True.
I mean, for me, it's easy. Whenever I register for a new site, I always try to get the username Daniel, because regardless of how, you look at it, it's like, Daniel? Which Daniel?
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a million of me in the world.
Well, and I think with mine, I had that YouTube account, J Carlson 04, and then I posted a video, and I was like, well, I guess I'm stuck with it now.
Oh,
I
yeah.
didn't think about trying to come up with some other, stage name or whatever. It's like, well, okay,
can't change it.
Here we go.
Considering I've been doing music stuff on the internet for close to 10 years now, it's one of those things where it's just in the earlier stage of the internet, pretty much everybody went by some sort of alias. It was just the thing to do if you were on forums or whatever. I started off on the VG music forums. I went as Icarus, and after a little bit, I just changed it to Cyril because I wrote a short story with a named character, Cyril. And I got one of my accounts got hacked at one point, so I changed to Cyril the Wolf. And I was like, yeah, that's kind of a better stage name anyway, And I like the idea of having this. Yeah, well, it's just one of those things, It's a nice stage name to me. It's very, very out there. It's very unique. You can find it. And I was going to change it to Cyril Lyric at one point because, I'm not a furry, but there's, I'm not. I don't really.
I actually was going to ask that because I thought that you were.
And that's really funny because I'm not, and I'm not going to get into the semantics of what a furry is, but by the definitions, I thought I'm not really a furry. I don't think I'm a wolf. I don't dress up. I don't do any of that. I mean, whatever. I enjoy all sorts of kinds of art, but I don't really care. I don't really
go outside at night and yell at the moon.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not an otherkin or whatever. And so, it actually got to the point where back in 2008 or something, I had a wiki fur entry made on me, and I was like, no, no.
Wow.
Well, and at the time, it was even more stigmatic. At this point, I don't care. If you if you like dressing up as a wolf or whatever, okay, do what you want. But it was a point where I was like, no, I'm not. I just don't want to be misrepresented that way. So, oh yeah, it will be the largest full moon of the year, and I can't wait because I do like the moon. That does reflect that. And I do and I do like wolves. I really think they're a really cool creature. They're not as domesticated as dogs. There's a certain feralness about them, and that's just been a thing of mine for a while. But I've never really identified as somebody who was a furry. I associated with a lot at the time because Cheesy Art was a place I was at, and there's a lot of furries on that site, or there was. And actually, Fur Affinity kind of there.
You could say the same of Deviant Art. There's plenty of plenty of everything on there.
Yeah, that's
right.
True.
Yeah,
so anyway.
Recently, in an assignment that was given to my classmates, and we had to find some vectors to use, and my friend said, can I get a nice looking turntable or a DJ set? And I said, go to DeviantArt. And the first page was full of vinyl scratch. He searched turntable, and the first page was just vinyl scratch all over.
My. Ponies everywhere. So anyway, thank you for answering the 4 important questions, Cyril. Now we can move on to the main part of the show. Oh boy, anything's going to be fun.
Yes, sir.
So anyway, next topic is housekeeping, and we got nothing. Dan, you got anything?
Yes, actually.
Oh, awesome.
This week I had my first Happy Meal in 10 years.
Oh my. So what did you got?
This is the first time in my life, I didn't even do this as a kid, that I bought a Happy Meal for the toy.
Oh my.
21, because it's when I was a kid, I just bought it because McDonald's tasted good.
Okay.
And now I bought it, and it was I went to the counter, and I'm kind of pretty blind. In fact, I'm very short-sighted. I've got depth perception issues. Went to the counter, and I said, I'll take a Happy Meal. And then I just took a while to focus at the list of toys available.
Oh.
And I just saw across Rarity's face, there was the word sold out written on it. No! Okay, so you're going to give me Optimus Prime. Don't worry, I'll just shove a USB stick up his ass and turn him into a pen drive. And then I think the guy saw it. Sorry?
I said, I think they make things to correct vision. They're called, I think, glasses.
Yeah, I wear them, but I'm completely blind.
Oh. They can also change your prescription and give you, I think they're called new glasses.
Yeah, but look, this is something interesting. My optician actually told me, Daniel, 3 days I've taken your readings and 3 of them are very different. And she said, I said, this is bad. It's chaotic on a daily basis, so that's really bad.
You got Discord in your eyes, boy.
It's in my brain, not just in my eyes. But anyway, I think the guy kind of saw it maybe in my eyes, I don't know. But he kind of saw, okay, big 21-year-old fat guy asking for a Happy Meal.
Oh,
I'll give him a pony. So yeah, basically that. That's an interesting story.
I was thinking, I'm thinking that, it's one of them.
I came in a Motorsport Division t-shirt, and I'm like, do I look like a brony?
Yeah, but you can tell.
Bro, you profiling me?
I'm wearing a t-shirt from a car modification company in Malaysia. I thought, if all these you give me a Transformer toy, and I'm like, okay.
No, he can tell. He can smell a brony a mile away.
He's been doing this job too long. He's seen some stuff.
He's seen
I haven't seen him in that branch. I've been living here for the past 21 years. I've never seen him before.
He's new, but he's
been in other branches. It's he transferred recently, and it's like, man, you haven't lived until you served McDonald's in Nam, where you saw 20,000 bronies clamoring over a Happy Meal. I've seen some crap, man. I've seen crap.
Oh boys. Well,
Yeah, that's it from me.
interesting story and interesting joke. That was so good. Anyway, let's move on to the next topic. If whatever we had previously was good, I hope you guys can bring the thunder.
I always the thunder.
Awesome.
Chocolate Thunder from Down Under. Available at your local Outback Steakhouse.
Rain is already bad enough, and we have chocolate thunder.
Chocolate thunder.
Anyway, let's move on.
It's like vodka and Milo.
Oh god, no. So anyway, let's move on. The next topic is news time. And in today's news time, My Little Pony Equestria Girl is good? Recently, Equestria Girls played in theaters. Review for the movie came from fans and non-fans of the show. And reviews for it were surprisingly positive.
Now, a disclaimer before we continue, Norman and I have not watched Equestria Girls yet, so don't spoil it for us.
Oh no, I'm not going to spoil anything. One of the non-fans website called UnleashTheFanboys.com gave it a 4 or 5, and the score on RottenTomato.com is a high 82%. Links can be found in the show notes. So, wow, if it's that good for non-fans, I'm excited to see it now.
Yeah, I haven't seen it either, so I can't really comment.
Yeah, I haven't seen it, but I've seen some screens, and I'll watch it. I don't go to movie theaters, so like for me, it's very much whatever comes out on a DVD, or I can find a way to find it online or something.
Yeah.
Well, iTunes.
I would be
We're
happy to
waiting for
download it illegally.
Oh my.
I would be happy to watch it in the theater. It's just not showing here.
True. But honestly speaking, most of the fans that were skeptical about this movie and were raging about it, Rotten Tomato gave it, well, not really Rotten Tomatoes, but non-fans gave it a positive review. And I listened to a podcast today. It was Stay Brony, my friends, Dusty Cat's podcast, and they interviewed Nicole Oliver. And Nicole said that she didn't know she was recording for Equestria Girls midway through when she noticed that, I'm reading for human part? What is this?
Oh,
That's a spoiler right there.
Not really, because...
it's a spoiler. You already know that. Like, if you
not.
like, well, okay. Let's put it this way. It's not really that much of a spoiler. I'm sorry that you didn't know that, but to me, it's not that much of a spoiler for our listeners either, because of the fact that you knew to a certain extent that every single pony was going to be represented in human form in Equestria Girls. That's just the basic premise of the show. So she could have been rooting for Cheerilee too. So
I forgot about that, yeah.
True. Or maybe
like,
she
now
could be
there's-
reading for something else. But anyway.
Let's just talking like, ladies and gentlemen, the President of the United States.
But anyway, looks good. I can't wait to get it on Blu-ray and DVD. So who knows? I'm hyped. So you guys want to watch it too?
yeah, I don't know when I'll have 2 hours to sit down and watch it, but sure.
We'll find those 2 hours.
Indeed. So anyway, let's move on to the next topic. And Han, why don't you take this one? I think you might like this one.
Okay, so guess who's up for pre-sale on Fourth Dimension Entertainment? A while back, Fourth Dimension Entertainment announced that they were going to produce a Pinkie Pie plush. And now the plush is up for pre-sale and will release late August or early September. Can't release it both days anyway. The plush is 10 inches tall and will cost $25 US, correct, Norman?
Indeed.
Right, you can find the links in the show notes. And of course, earlier this year, they also announced that they're going to produce a Twilight Sparkle plush. New information has come up, and here are snippets from that. The first wave of Twilight plushies is shipping soon. Be sure to keep your delivery addresses up to date. You don't want Twilight showing up at the wrong house. It's her job to tell you you're in the wrong neighborhood. And now you can combine Pinkie and Twilight into one package and save on shipping. Though you will need to wait for Pinkie's release if you want to go this route, and we shouldn't be telling you this because we all order things online all the time anyway.
Indeed.
And the last thing is, people that ordered multiple Twilights will now retroactively save on shipping via combined offers. Extra shipping charges from before will be refunded, and you will get multiple messages that you're in the wrong neighborhood. Links can be found in the show notes. So, Pinkie's gonna join the bandwagon for Fourth Dimension Entertainment, and finally, show accurate plushies, guys. Yes or no?
I ordered
Yes.
mine.
Okay, fine.
I am so hype. You can't imagine how hype I am.
So hype.
No, but honestly, honestly speaking, the plush that's been produced by Fourth Dimension is really good, and I would say that they look as good as what a White Dove can do for a cheaper price.
That's true, yeah.
Well,
Actually,
produced.
just for our listeners, Norman, how much is the shipping?
Let's just say a total of everything is going to cost me $50.
It costs as much as the
International.
plushie to ship it here.
Yes, but I'm sorry. True, but they do have that save on shipping combined order thing. So if you do a bulk buy and ship it to Asia, might cost you cheaper maybe.
So what you're saying is have a whole bunch of people who are interested in the plushie get together and make a big order with all of your money combined. That way you save on shipping.
True
We've been doing
indeed.
that for We Love Fine for the past how many years? The trouble is when it comes to customs, they start giving us trouble.
Oh yes, for customs, but this fortunately is not a custom. It's a you mean
No, the border control customs. They walk
Excuse me while I go and roll around in embarrassment for a little bit.
It's alright, we understand that because we order custom stuff as well.
Si, senor.
Customs go through customs, so
Customs.
You
customs,
dog. I
customs,
heard you
customs.
like...
to the customers at the end of it.
No, but still true. Cheap. I think this is cheap compared to any custom mades out there. And hell, who knows? If it's popular, we might as well get them there, right?
Yeah.
Get them there, as in go to US and bring them back.
No, get them there as in get from Fourth Dimension Entertainment for our plushie needs.
Yes, plushie needs, not
True.
wants, needs.
All your plushie needs.
Indeed.
All your plushie needs, Ira.
Oh no! No. Speaking of
Hang on, I'm gonna go
Get
throw
a
up.
cheap beer cooler.
no, speaking of Lyra plushie customs. Anyway, let's move on to the next one. And in the next one is image of My Little Pony Monopoly appears. So anyway, the website US Apoli. Wow.
Monopoly? That's a really bad name for a place.
I know. Anyway, that website recently released images of the official My Little Pony version of Monopoly. Location on the boards will be inspired from locations in the show, and the main 6 will be used as token pieces. Links and pictures can be found in the show notes. So, who here likes to play Monopoly?
Nobody.
Okay.
Nobody.
I'm
And here's the thing.
anti-establishment.
Well, no. Here's what I find funny. Monopoly is known as the game that can turn families against each other, and it's being released as friendship is magic. No, friendship won't be magic after you play this game. You will be not friends. You will be enemies.
But you know, I like to add more rules to the game. It's like, okay, whoever picks like unicorn, become the unicorn gang, or the Pegasi with the Earth Pony. Pick a clan, and then like those two clans try to work together to conquer everything on the board.
Basically,
so you could make a gang with the other players and get all the real estate, and then charge protection fees against the other players that land on your estate.
You're
This is gonna
undoing
be more like
heartwarming.
real life.
You're putting
I
that in
will say-
mind.
I don't like to. All right, I do like to play Monopoly, but I have never finished a game of it. Ever.
True.
It takes too long.
It's
Indeed.
fun. It's fun to start out, but then like 5 hours later, it's like, oh my god, take my money. I don't care.
It's
I've
not
actually
like
played a game over about a week or so on on PC when it was back in computer. And I continued save and load, and the only way to win is to make everyone else bankrupt.
Indeed.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
the only way to
the
win
object
is
of
for
the game.
everyone else to quit.
Yeah.
It's a game of endurance. It's not about beating the other players, except for beating them. It's a physical challenge. Monopoly is.
Monopoly
like
is the original board game of attrition.
It's 5 AI players who will never quit until someone pulls the plug on the computer. So I had to keep up with that.
How
It's
very
bad.
Malaysian, or how very Asian.
Oh
Yep.
boy,
That
Dan,
was
you're
back when I was in Chinese school. So yeah, that's actually really true.
No quitting.
Monopoly China.
oh boy.
Oh,
But
God.
anyway,
I own Beijing now.
you should play
The
Risk.
Han Dynasty.
You should play Risk. No, but honestly speaking, this is interesting just for the set pieces. And yeah.
And look carefully. I can see Discord on one of the cards. It's probably the chance card.
I don't know. Discord could be the chance or
Community chest is lighter blue and it's on the left, and it looks like I don't know what the heck. That is. It's like an atomic bomb, if you ask me.
No, it's Mare.
Atomic bomb.
Dan, I have concerns for you.
No, but
yeah, it's probably not an atomic bomb.
But
I mean,
it is Mare.
Pinkie Pie.
And Discord is definitely chance because that's obvious.
Go to jail is still the same.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, it's still going to jail. It's like
has a jail.
Yeah, but the board looks nice. That's what I have to say. The board looks nice.
More colorful than the cheap old Monopoly board, which is just squares of blue and whatever color that you use on that.
True.
You know what I find funny throughout, like, every single Monopoly, it's, I think, like, Star Wars, because it's Star Wars. Like, it's always just go to jail with that same dude.
I think it's copyright.
That dude is eternal.
I know, right? He is the eternal cop for everything.
And yeah, I mean, there isn't a pony version of him. That's not a good thing.
No, I think...
They probably could have easily found a pony version of
just need to put a royal guard there.
Anything.
True.
Yeah, it's the dude.
No, it's the dude. He's the eternal cop. He's like... he's eternal cop. Inferno cop.
He
Go the
is.
hell to jail. No.
Yeah, he is the law. But anyway...
Yeah, jail is actually hell. That's what it is.
Tartarus, yes.
Yeah.
It should be the moon, and there should be Lunar, Celestia right there within our faces.
Go to the moon.
Just sit there for 1,000 turns and think
Oh,
of what
God.
you did.
1,000 turns. Well, slow your roll there.
Until you
Zane.
open
Don't
a
do
chance card and it says the stars have aided in your escape.
Oh, God.
God, dude.
That's actually a really good idea.
No, it's a terrible idea.
No,
You want to make it
not
longer
the 1,000
game.
turns. Not the
Oh,
1,000 turns. But to have Celestia and say, go to the moon, and then to get out the stars evaded in your escape.
Yeah,
that's a
that
good
is idea.
You know, we bronies are creative, so someone might do something.
Custom rules, welcome back.
So anyway, I'm guessing some of us might get it, some of us might not. I'm interested in getting it.
I mean, I'll get Pinkie Pie. I don't need to roll the dice.
Right.
I
Pardon?
don't get it.
Pinkie Pie doesn't need to roll dice. She goes wherever she wants.
Fourth element.
She can walk straight across the board.
But anyway, let's move on. And in the next topic is guest time. And in today's guest time, we have Cyril The Wolf, a brony musician, and an awesome one at that.
He's holy.
Indeed.
God.
So,
Jesse, I'm gonna go to wherever you live, and I'm going to just kick you in the pants. Only your pants, though. I'm just gonna go into your pants store and just kick them. You'll be like, dude, what are you doing? Why are you doing this? I told you I'd kick you in the pants.
Not even the pants I'm wearing. Just
No,
the pants.
just the pants. Your pants drawer.
As long as you make the frustrated old man like...
Oh, of course. I didn't know there was any other way to kick pants. I thought that's how you had.
oh boy. So I wanted to ask if you're having fun or not, but it looks like you are.
No, I'm having the worst time ever.
Oh.
Until he goes to Jesse's house, then he's going to have a lot of fun.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Oh my.
Kicking all 2 pairs of pants I own.
But anyway,
Well, you'll have to expand that to underwear, too.
No, not my underpants.
oh my cheeks they hurt. Oh my cheeks they hurt. So anyway, Cyril, why don't you introduce yourself to the people who might not know who you are and what you do?
Well, hello, people who might not know who I am or what I do. I am Cyril The Wolf. I make music, and the specific kind of music I generally make is the metal kind. But not just the metal kind, but also the metal kind. And you know, anything that really has a good distorted guitar in it. Or slap bass, because I slap at the bass pretty well. Although I have been known to although I have been known to include sax. And that's pretty much what I do. I've done vocals for a bunch of people. I've done things for various brony musicians, and I'm a free listener at EQD. That's about all you need to know. So if you got rejected, it's probably my fault.
Oh, so you're also a pre-listener?
Yeah, and honestly, it's it's the system's not set up for me to properly give feedback to people. Otherwise, I would. But like realistically, I have rejected a lot of things.
Oh.
But,
yeah, I was.
Just asking, has that been taken over by EQ Beats, or what is that?
No,
music site?
no, not really. EQD still does its music thing, and it's a very small part of the whole that is EQD. And of course, there's a lot of other sites coming up that do Pony music. EQ Beats kind of could have, but didn't end up doing so. So it's more like a repository for Celestial Radio. And then another one called Pony.fm that's coming out from the My Little Pony forums. That's going to try to be more like Overclock Remix, where they have just general submissions. Not like Overclock Beat, but kind of combination between like a EQ Beats, just to upload stuff, and then have a quality feature, quality assurance.
SoundCloud-ish?
SoundCloud-ish, but plus Overclocked Remix, where you could submit something to a panel of judges where it's judged very harshly on quality, and that could be featured. So that was the whole idea behind that. But Pony.fm needs to start being used more for that to happen. And admittedly, I haven't uploaded too much of my stuff, but that's because I have a lot of my stuff on Bandcamp because I do a lot more original music than I do covers. And it takes me a lot of time to do so, and I'm poor and can always use the support. So, yay! What did you want me to talk more about, Daniel? OC Remix?
Oh, well, we can ask you questions based on that. So, first of all, you started... Actually, to say this, you're probably the only person that I know who became a brony musician and a brony at the same time.
Yeah, I guess it's a fair assessment. It definitely was brony first because I got into the show first, but I've always been a musical kind of guy, and I was like, oh, parody, that sounds kind of fun, you know?
It was like 20 minutes later, right?
But pretty much, I slaved over the lyrics longer than I did the recording, and I kind of wish I did a little bit more with it, but as I found an instrumental of BYOB on the internet, and, it was just a, hey, why are they cynical? It's done, and it was like 2 takes done, sort of thing. And then I did Millennium Alone, which took me a lot more time. But that's because I started becoming actually more emotionally connected to ponies, more than I thought I would. Because I used to be a very disconnected sort of person. So yeah, thanks ponies for making me in touch with my emotions.
Okay, so basically, I don't know how to put this. The fandom has done that to so many people.
Oh yeah.
It's like, I feel like I am who I am again. That's how I felt. Probably it's just me. I don't know.
Yeah, it really, to me, it helped. Like, it's just like, you get so clinical in life, especially, as a male, actually, not to harp on gender roles too much, but, you're taught, actually, I wouldn't even do that. You're taught throughout life to keep yourself under wraps, keep your emotions under wraps, especially as a male. And so, watching ponies and, just kind of the way the fandom was at the time in June 2011 was a lot more innocent to me. It was just, it was like, I can actually feel something and it'll be okay. And it was a little bit better that way. Being a musician, it's really helpful to feel things, unless you do ska music. It's like, ska music's just dumb.
It's soulless, really.
My. Ain't them fighting words.
I just had to do a jab at. People say the same thing about metal. Like, it's like, it's all screaming. It doesn't even sound aggressive anymore, So,
man, there's some metal to me. I used to think a lot of the same things, and then you start listening to some of it, and you're like, you know what? This is hilarious.
Some of it's hilarious.
Some of it is just, some people are like, oh yeah, I really like it because he describes how black and dark my soul is. No, you know what?
We're talking about
it's hilarious, dude. No, this is so funny to me, especially like we said earlier, like Devin Townsend, all that strapping young lad stuff. Dude, how can you possibly take that seriously with a guy that looks like that, a skullet going, a fat drummer, an old bassist, crazy-looking guitar player? Like, come on, this is hilarious. How can you take it so seriously?
That sounds like Gorillaz.
Yeah, and Devin Townsend is admittedly his lyrics are they're supposed to be humorful. Like, he doesn't necessarily set out to make any statements anyway. I mean, sometimes he does. Like, the song Love is very lyrically, like, dark. Not even hilarious, but, like, you know, he also has one called Far Beyond Metal, where he...
that is my favorite song right now! Yes!
I know. Like, Far Beyond Metal is literally just, like, you know, just talking about how other forms of music suck and how awesome metal is.
Or the song You Suck.
I know. Right. There's another song, too, that was funny. I can't remember, but he's got lots of humor in his stuff.
And it's even the ones that aren't, you know, admittedly, like, out in the open, yes, this is supposed to be funny. Stuff like, you know, like the band Lordi. They dress up like monsters all the time, and every single one of their music videos is the exact same thing. Like, here's a normal-looking situation, and the lights are flickering, the power went out, what's happening? And then Lordi busts through the wall and starts singing at some, not like at some person. Like, they're forcibly singing in the face. And they're all dressed up as monsters, and there's flamethrowers everywhere, and it's just damn hilarious. How can you not laugh at this?
I'm already laughing at it.
Huge spectacle. How can it be anything more than pure entertainment?
So it's like a Weird Al Yankovic of the metal world?
Not really. He's not a parody. They're not parody artists. Like, Weird Al is specifically parodied, but these people are like just so over the top. Like the Weird Al Yankovic of the metal world would actually be like Steel Panther, because Steel Panther is hilarious. I mean, they have a song that is literally, the chorus is, "My heart belongs to you, but my dong is community property." Like, that is the lyrics of the song. And but like Lordi to me, like, he knows it too. Like, if you watch interviews with Lordi, it's like, yeah, this is what we do. This is supposed to be completely entertainment. Like, we know it. It's like it's obvious.
I love it.
And none of the bands like you're citing actually take themselves seriously, Jesse, which is what I find funny. There are bands that do, like those weird black metal dudes, in a lot of them anyway, in Norway, like some, like, you know
but even sort of them, I can't.
Yeah,
take them
those guys
seriously.
are hilarious. No, I don't either. But I'm just saying, like, if you cited one of those, like, if you're like, man, Cradle of Filth is so hilarious, and like they are, you know, but it's like, it's because they actually like take themselves serious as hell, like. And it's like, dude, Cradle of Filth, are you kidding me? Like, you look super pale, and you're stupid.
You're all dummies.
You're all dumb, and it's hilarious. And if you take, like, but those people take themselves seriously. But, like, you know, on the other side of the coin, you have bands like Slipknot, which, you know, you don't necessarily have to take seriously. But, like, some of the lyrics are very, like, nihilistic and cathartic. And, like, the band itself is, like, actually pretty dang talented, and it's, like, this really aggressive noise, but it's really, like, if I'm in a really bad mood, I just flip on some Slipknot, and I feel better, like, after listening to the album, because it's just, like,
I wish that in high school I had actually listened to them, because, you know, when they were all big, popular, whatever, well, I say when they were, like, they're not anymore.
I mean, after Paul Gray passed away, they actually suffered a bit of a blow.
Oh, yeah.
Well, it's just, I never listened to it because I always thought, oh, Slipknot, that's so dumb. Y'all are idiots. Why are you listening to that garbage? And I know that now I would love it. I would just eat that stuff up. And I never listened to it before. You know, like, same with, like, you know, Pantera, because it was always the, you know, dumb.
That's not a word.
And the giant trucks, you know, with cowboy hats on, listening to Pantera. And you're like, hey, you know, screw you guys. I don't want to listen to that same stuff. No, it's freaking awesome. Like, why didn't I listen to all this stuff before? I don't know, because I love it now.
Something about
really
something about bronies, because we say the same about My Little Pony, you know.
That is true.
I mean, you know, it depends on what you grow up with. Like, for me, like, my favorite song when I was 5 was For Whom the Bell Tolls. So, like, man, I've always kind of just been a metalhead. Except for this really weird period where I just only listened to classical music.
Oh my.
I don't know. It was just like for like
because
3 years.
Because it came with Windows Media Player.
Yes, I just listened to Scherzo. Beethoven number 5, Scherzo, over and over again. No.
Thank you, Microsoft.
Here's the thing, though, I want to do is to talk about classical music like it's pop music. So I've done this with some things, like, you could talk about operas, like there's some action movie, like Don Giovanni at the end, when
I've done that.
He busts through the door and he's like, Don Giovanni, you're going to hell, man. Your life's over. That's freaking awesome. Or you listen to, like, like Mahler and all that stuff. That's the heavy metal of classical music. It's so good.
How can Mahler's like progressive? Mahler's like the progressive metal. Like Mahler was Dream Theater, whereas like Beethoven was like,
or like Wagner and Wagner. Heavy metal of classical music.
Wagner was the Einstein of classical music.
That makes upon the first emo artist.
Oh yeah, for sure.
The first emo artist was C.P.E. Bach. That guy was sad as hell and always wrote about it. He was one of Bach's, like, 17 children.
Oh, I was going to say, because, like, I never really listened to anything beyond Johann Sebastian because of, like, the well-tempered clavier. And, like, if you want to, like, become better as a musician, it doesn't matter what instrument you play. Just get the well-tempered clavier, like, arranged for your instrument and learn it.
Yep. Okay,
or even...
the well-tempered clavier pissed me off. It was my exact song.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, it's difficult, but, like, it's just one of those things. If you're not forced to and you really want to get better, if you take the time to learn... if you're a bass player, for instance, if you take the time to learn all the bass parts of the left hands from well-tempered clavier, you will become a much better player.
I mean, that's what just happened to me. I looked at it and I was like, hey, this is pretty nice. I like it. I turned the page and the fugue came in and I was like,
that's not a word.
Yeah, and it's like, it's sort of funny. Sometimes
I need to go 2 more hands. He's writing SAT B for piano.
Oh, yeah, I love Bach. Well, because sometimes he wrote for organ, too. So, like, you have feet there.
Legs. So, to play the pedals, and I'm like, I don't even know how to drive, and I gotta do this.
Toccata and fugue is just, like, so good. Anyway, wow, this got really tangential.
I'm the only one here who doesn't know music. Awesome me.
Okay, this is kind of like, I don't know, poetic revenge, because when you all talk about video games, I'm like, I don't play that stuff. And I'm like, finally, I have something to talk about.
I know.
Hey, this is great for me, because I don't know if I've told you before, but I have 2 BMs. No big deal.
You have 2 BMs?
It's a not bowel movement. It's Bachelor's of Music. Yes, actually.
I know you have one.
What's the second one? What's the second one?
Well, the first one is in the
bassoon.
The girl catching field of bassoon performance, and the other is in the even more girl catching field of music education. And yes, I am a certified band director in the state of Georgia.
Music education actually does get you the girls because it gives you an income better than, performance does.
That's true, but instead of doing either of those, I am right now a broadcast engineer.
Which is what I'm going to be, probably.
I work at TV.
At least you're employed as a musician. Right now, I work at a call center. I'm in a band that's hopefully going to release their first album, and we're being produced by Professor Louie, who produced some of Bob Dylan's stuff, being released on Woodstock Records. So hopefully that works out. And I'm also doing this brony thing, and I've made some money there. And not to say I'm trying to exploit my fans. No, I'm just saying if my fan. I always put my stuff out, if you want to pay for it, great. If not, I know you can get it. I know there's ways for you to get it, and I'll probably be putting it up for free on my channel anyway. That's my philosophy. And, and that's the way the music industry's going. Or, I've actually got my second album on Spotify, so if you go stream me a lot on Spotify, I can make I can make a little bit of money there.
So you're, actually seriously doing music stuff? Because I always think about it, but then I'm like, you know what? That's a lot of work, and I get really lazy.
It's a lot of work. It is a lot of work. I will say that. If I had any sort of other music job, like if I was a sound engineer or whatever, I probably wouldn't even pursue it. Or if I had any sort of creative job. But right now I'm working, just barely above minimum wage from home, fortunately, because it gives me a lot more time to do music. As a call center rep. So, that's literally my day job. It's hard sometimes. And BronyCon's going to be fun because BronyCon, I have 2 gigs with my band, and I also am playing it, for a bunch of people at BronyCon. And I'm just trying to think of how I can, get some time to sell my CDs at BronyCon. Because Saturday at noon, I'm playing in Norwich, New York, which is about a 5-hour drive from Baltimore, and I'm playing at noon till 1:30, and I'll be back to BronyCon about 7 o'clock to play for.
Whoa!
And then
that sounds terrible.
And then on Sunday, I've got a gig. We're opening up for new writers of the Purple Sage at 7:30 in a place called Westerville, which is near Utica, which is about 5 hours away.
Oh boy.
And then after that, I'm going to drive home.
Oh, you're driving so that you're not like with a tour van or something.
Well, no, I have a car with no air conditioning, so
Wait.
I have lots of.
Well, I have a
Doing
car
a
with
bad
spoiled air conditioning, and with
You're
temperature
doing a
here is
bad job.
hell.
Making it sound cool.
Look, being a musician sometimes can be cool. I was at Cutie Mark Con. It was a 9-hour drive to get there, but I was treated very, very nicely. Like, I had a gopher. I had an hour set. They treated me awesomely. I had a contract, and it was great. Musician, honestly, I don't want to make it sound cool because people get this really huge misconception, like, being a musician is like, oh man, I wish I could just sit there and be a musician. No. You're working just as hard as any other job. The difference is, I derive a lot of pleasure from it.
Yes,
and honestly, being a musician is a rather thankless job from a monetary standpoint. You do a lot for it for not a lot of fiscal return, but to me, it's one of my favorite things to do. Even if I have to drive, a lot to go play at various gigs around, the Eastern Seaboard.
Similarly here, it's similar for a lot of us, especially, down here in Malaysia as well, like, the choir that I'm in, we're not being paid to perform or anything. In fact, we're the ones paying to do this stuff, and next month we're headed to Bali, Indonesia for a competition, and we have almost very little support, a bit of sponsorship here and there, but basically around here, people only care about pop music, because, top songs on the radio are the same old crap.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I have two stations.
Right, and I have the advantage of where, I'm actually playing music that's more accessible. Like, I'm not doing more quote-unquote artistic, whatever you want to call it. Like art music is what people call classical music, and in that vein, like you're doing.
Yeah,
that is what's called art music. Whereas I do definitely what's more pop music. I make music that's got a very specific form. It's got melodies. It's got hooks. It's composed of a very distinct thing in mind, and that's my goal. It's almost like a craft rather than doing something art. Because as a writer, anyway. Performing classical music is always like a craft, even if it's art music. Being a performer has always been a job, whereas being a composer is being, are you doing it for the art? Are you doing it for what? And that's like, I guess, the argument people always get into. But my point is, I do stuff that's more accessible, even though it's less accessible. Like if I was Andy Mandopony and I had a nice, pretty voice, which I don't, and if I wrote more pop music, which I don't.
You don't have a pretty voice for pop, but your voice suits metal. And when I found out that you were on Seeds of Kindness Volume 2, which was the song that you did with Sprocket Doggingsworth, I was like, that's Cyril? Wait, no.
Hey, I just did a song with Sprocket.
Oh.
Yeah, Sprocket, dude, I love Sprocket. That dude is fun.
I've been trying to get him on
funny.
the show. He's just busy. Poor guy.
Yeah, and it's one of those things, like, yeah, that's what I mean. Like, it's just one of those things where I fully recognize, I used to be really bitter about it, but I fully recognize that my voice and my style is not, quote-unquote, popular. It's got a following, don't get me wrong. Like, I do not want to, like, say any of my fans, like, I don't want to just take away from any of my fans, because I love my fan base, they're very dedicated. That's the advantage of being in a more niche thing, is the fans you do get tend to stick with you. You don't get a lot of people hating on it. Because, like, when you do pop music, like, the pop music crowd is so fickle. That's why, when people give crap to Ando Pony or Mike the Microphone or even Living Tombstone for anything music related, I'm like, shut up, because I liked to rib on Tombstone for doing kick snare. But then again, all he did was electronic music, and what do you have in electronic music? That's like saying for a long time, Infected Mushroom did a 4 on the floor kick, Psytrance for 4 albums. That's all they did.
Now that you mentioned it, I actually just realized that.
It's exactly, but that's the thing. That's the style he was doing. And you know what? People loved it. It's got that hook. It's got that beat, and people love it. And, somehow, I guess it's because he has an accent where his voice gets off. Because honestly, Tombstone to me doesn't have a very pleasing tone to his voice. But he's got an accent, so people usually overlook the tone of somebody's voice if they have an accent.
I don't know if it's the accent, and if he happens to listen, no offense intended, but I think it's that it's very nasally, and and some people just are that way. I think when I listen to myself speaking in recordings, and maybe you guys are thinking this right now, I'm always like, God, man, I sound like that's terrible. What am I doing? Plugging my nose? I sound so awful and nasally. And
I don't think you sound nasally at all.
Even my singing, I don't normally really like, but that's why I enjoy doing ska music, because you don't have to be very good at singing to do it.
Right.
And, it's more fun. I'm not some kind of pop star, whatever amazing singer. No way. But this stuff entertains me, and I was the only one around to do it, so I did it. And whatever. I don't care.
True.
And pop has,
Yeah.
Go ahead. No, go ahead, Dan.
Actually, because Norman and I, we actually face the same problem. I don't know how much Norman faces it, but I've been a podcaster for almost 2 years already, and every time I edit my own podcast, I have a podcast outside of this one, I hear my own voice for about 10, 20 minutes, and I'm like, what's wrong with you, Daniel?
It's weird hearing your own recorded voice, because you hear it plenty, as it echoes through a room, or, how you hear it just in your own ears. But when you hear it as a recording, it's always very strange to hear your voice, I guess, as from another point of view. And it's something that I'm still not even really used to. For I say as much as I've done, like I have some huge library, but as much as I've, recorded my own voice, I'm still not used to it. And every time I hear myself, I'm like, ugh, who's this awful person
But what gets to me is
wailing and making noises?
I mean, I pretty much grown on my speaking voice, but when I start to sing, then I realize this isn't my career. This isn't my destiny. It's like, no, abandon ship, abort mission.
I probably should have done that. Like, if you listen to a recording of mine from a couple of years ago or even older, I mean, my singing was terrible bad. Like, so bad. I can't even listen to it. Like, if I used to think I was nasally, but I used to just have terrible technique, so it just kind of made me sound nasally. Yeah. But, you get used to your voice. Recorded, if you use the same microphone, or if you find a microphone that responds to your voice similarly to how your your I guess self resonates with your voice.
Well,
I actually happen to pick up. Yeah, I happen to pick up a mic called an EV Blue Cardinal that captures my voice very, very similarly to the way I hear my voice. So for me, it's actually not that bad, and it's really weird.
That's good.
But that's what you want to look for. Like, if you ever I know everybody's on a budget, but if you have the chance to get your pick of the litter of mics, if you get into the $250 range in US dollars, you can have more choice with what microphone you get. And I would advise looking in to trying to test out as many as possible before you make the decision, if you can. If you have that ability, like, try out, look, do some research, like, find out what one mic's frequency response is. That's important.
Yes.
And then, find out the frequency response, and then see how that makes your voice sound, and then look for other mics that, my voice sounds really thin to me through this. What should I do? Like, this mic is great. I mean, of course, I'm also running currently through a BBE sonic maximizer and a compressor, because those are things I picked up when I started doing my live radio show, because I didn't have a powerful enough computer to do in stuff, and it was a lot cheaper for me.
Wait, are you piping your voice through a VST right now?
No, not VST. It's actually outboard gear.
Oh,
this is real equipment.
I have real stuff. Like, I have 2 monitors and a subwoofer. Like, when I do my mixing and stuff, because actually at one point I wanted to be a sound engineer, just a mixing or a mastering dude, and I do that still for some people. And I have mastered for money. But for me, it's the reason I bought all this stuff is, and I have some room treatment stuff, is because that aspect of it I really like. That's why, coming from Overclocked Remix, where the production values are really high, like, I'm very, very polished when it comes to my mixing and mastering, and things have to be a certain way, otherwise I don't like it. Which is why, like, I used to enjoy go back to Slipknot, Volume 3, The Subliminal Verses. I really liked that. I learned a little bit more about mixing, mastering, got better equipment. I listen to it now, and I'm like, God, Rick Rubin's a terrible producer.
Man, I mean, you're like just totally speaking my language.
That kind of does
right
that,
now,
when you learn about something, I'm currently learning broadcast and production class. You suddenly start to see that the movies that you love so much when you're younger, you watch it again, and you're like, ah.
Well, as for me, when I hear my own voice when recording, I'm used to it by now because it's been, 81 episodes? So I'm used to it. The only thing I can't stand is the stupid stuff I say or my improper grammar when I use it.
81?
Yeah, then 81 episodes, including the specials. So,
okay.
Anyway, so Cyril, you say you're going to BronyCon, right?
Yes.
So, if I'm not mistaken, Jesse, you're also going to BronyCon, right?
Not that I know of.
Ah, during the last chat we had, you said you were trying to?
I thought about it, and I kind of tried to look around and see if it's possible, and it kind of came up as not so sure that it is possible.
Oh, I thought if the two of you meet, it will be so awesome. Do a live show. Oh, at least Cyril can kick you in the pants.
Hey, live on stage.
Live on stage. Hey, man, when I went to Las Vegas' Unicon, which is not something I'm going to discuss in too much detail because Las Vegas' Unicon was a crock, but I actually shaved the Batman symbol into my chest hair.
Okay.
Well, for some reason, I got to be known for my chest hair. That's something on Tumblr. It's just because I hate it's summer right now. I'm hot. I'm not wearing I don't wear shirts. I just refuse to if I'm hot. I need to be comfortable if I'm in my own home. And so I started doing reaction pictures or videos on my YouTube channel with just my phone, and I just have no shirt on. And so I did a 1,000 subscriber special where I did a fake striptease that got cut off by Pinkie Pie. It was supposed to be a joke, and people on Philadelphia radio took that and decided to make a GIF out of it, me just doing this awful thing, or setting it to other forms of music. And so the legend of my chest hair was born thusly. And actually, I think AskCyril'sChestHair.tumblr.com still exists.
Oh, my.
I didn't make it.
Could you say that you don't wear a shirt, but you do wear a sweater?
Sometimes.
A man sweater.
A man sweater. And actually, somebody pointed out to me that it looks, if I just cut it, trimmed it a little bit, it would look like I'm wearing a bra of hair.
Oh no.
And but yeah, for Las Vegas' Unicon, man, that was hilarious, and people loved it. I was just because I like Luna, so I was I decided to become closer to the night, so I decided to become the night. And there it was.
My.
And 2 weeks later, it was gone. I'm losing the hair on my head, but it's my chest lives on.
Compensation. Oh, boys. So anyway,
but this has been a great conversation because
no, it's
we never had such a in-depth conversation about music in general. Because usually when we come with musicians, hey there, so what's your inspiration to write music? But Cyril has provided us with so much to talk about since he told us about how he started. And the first time I've ever met a person who became a brony musician 20 minutes after he became a brony, so that is amazing, right there.
It still took a couple of days of thought, and then the recording took 20 minutes, just so you know. But yeah, you're right.
Close enough. It's still within a week. It's some people become a fan of the show. It's okay. Oh, wait, there's music. Nah, never mind.
Well, and I didn't even know about the scene when I did that. I just knew there was some parodies out there and some, those movie trailers. And I was like, oh, that's funny. Let's do that. And then Pony Swag came out, and that's what really got me into the music scene,
song?
honestly. Yeah, Swagberg song. And I actually did a thing with Swagberg too. But he's not really a brony. I don't know if he was in the first place, but it looks like he was trying to get into the scene at first, but then he was like, I'm bailing.
I saw that Star of David and Mike, and I was like, that's not anything to do with bronies. Usually bronies would put some cutie mark thing up there, and then it's like, okay, he's not one.
That was his cutie mark. His cutie mark was the Star of David because he was Jewish. So he's a Jewish rapper. Literally, that's it. It's the Star of David.
So is that simple?
Yeah, his cutie mark was a 6-point star and a boom mic.
Yeah, I remember that. The 6-point star in the boom mic.
Yeah, which is because he's Jewish and he's a rapper, so that's his cutie mark. It makes sense.
Oh, okay. That's
Interesting.
Yeah, more you know. Yeah, I mean, and I just like, you know, and I was always kind of into rap because I was into nerdcore before Brony, Brony music. So it was like, oh, hey, I'll write a verse for this. I'll do a remix of it real quick because a friend dared me to. I don't really do rap very much, but it's fun once in a while.
So you were in Brony Swag?
Yeah, I wasn't in the original. I was in the Mega Mix.
The Mega Mix. Yeah, I remember the.
Yeah, I was in the Mega Mix, and I did a remix of it myself, which is on my channel. And I also did a song called Sahar, which is a remix of For the New Lunar Republic with him.
Ooh.
And that song didn't really take off because that was like it took him months to release it because he was just like, He put it on his mixtape, and it wasn't. He kind of distanced himself Brony scene shortly after that.
I can see why.
And then, I Bring the Walls did a rap over it, and I did help him with that, and that took forever to come too. But it's really funny because not a lot of people know it was a Swagberg song, and not a lot of people know that I'm doing the guitars on that.
Mm.
Like they
I think everybody knew it was like not a clever pony was in it because of the beat.
Well, right, yeah, Not a Clever Pony. Everybody knew that, and I'm not even talking about Swagberg, Pony Swag. I'm talking about Sahar, which is the song I Bring the Walls. Yeah, which is the song I Bring the Walls finished, really, because it was uploaded to Swagberg's channel a while before that, just as an instrumental, and I was doing the guitars on it. I was credited as Connor Pelkey, which is my real name. And, and so, just to this day, I don't know what I did. I actually think I specifically said, credit me how you want, but here's my username. And then Lulz picked it up, so not a lot of people know that I did the guitars on it. I actually told Lulz that, and I was like, dude, can I do the rap on this too? Because I have some fun with it. So yeah, there's it's just a funny, like, I've done a lot more in the Brony music scene than I probably let on, but that's because I really don't necessarily want a lot of why people know me to be hitching on somebody else. I mean, I'll do things because it's fun, and I like doing projects with people. But for me, it's just like, look, if you're going to want to, if you know who I am, I'd rather you know me because I did this, which is part of me. I don't mind people knowing me because of the collab I did with Bronified, because that's a style I love, and it's a vocal style I love doing, so that's a different story. But to me, artistic integrity doesn't necessarily mean, you don't collaborate with anybody. It's just you choose not to upplay, I did guitars on Sahar with Swagberg, or I did this thing with Mike the Microphone. Yeah, I did do a parody of Ride and Dirty, called Flying Derpy.
Yeah, Flying Derpy, yes. That was by you as well?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, because I heard the song, and I actually had it just a dry MP3, and I didn't have any tags on it, so I was wondering, which one is this? Who did this song? I couldn't figure out who it was.
Yeah, I mean, I did the producing-ish stuff. I wrote some of the parody lyrics, and I
who
honestly, I was going to... Lauren Goodnight.
Oh, okay.
Yep, Lauren G did.
Yeah,
And,
I'm looking at it right now, and you're credited as Cyril Lyrics.
Yeah, that's right. Because it fits better in the thing. I did Cyril Lyric because that was that one song too at the time, and I was like, this is my rapper name now. Cyril Lyric. It's funny because like I don't really do rap, and to me having a slightly different title is okay. And it's funny to me because I'm Cyril The Wolf. I do a show called Cyril's Silly Show, and I do other things. And one person actually asked me, "Are you the Cyril from Cyril's Silly Show?" I'm like, yes. It is my show. And it's just funny how unless you specifically make those connections, people won't get it necessarily. You don't know where people get the information. I believe, and this kind of goes back to the first thing that was said, like, good music doesn't need marketing. It's like, no, it kind of does. Like, you don't necessarily have to heavily market it, but it does need a venue, a platform for which people need to hear it. And, I mean, for, if you're trying to do music. Now, if you're just doing it for fun, I mean, who cares? But for me, I'm doing it for fun, yes, but I also, I want to be, like, I want to do music for a living. I want to make a decent living just making music, doing thing. And it's it's hard. It's like anything else. But if you work for it, eventually it'll be your thing. So
Awesome.
I think I pretty much have a unique story because I found out about you through Seeds of Kindness, And what happened was that, because you did the song When You Smile, and then after that you did the collaboration with Sprocket, and you had another song on the next album, which was, I think, Faithful and Strong, yeah. And then I did not know that you were a metal artist until I found your SoundCloud much later, and I think Jesse was the one who told me that you did metal. And I was like, Cyril does metal?
Yeah. Well, and I don't want to be pigeonholed either. Like, I do a lot of metal, but, like, I write a lot of other stuff, too. So, you know, my first album, Howling to the Moon, is very diverse. Like, it starts with a funk song, for pity's sake. And, you know, the second album I did was a lot more hard rock oriented. But, like, to me, it's... Cyril The Wolf is not just a metal group. Like, if I wanted to make a metal band, I would. But
you should.
I should, but it's a pain in the butt. I'm very... it really is. Like, if I'm the band leader, like, I don't know if I'd be able to hold a band, because that would just be such a... Like, I don't want to... Like, other than certain, like, lead guitar parts, I don't like chopping out things. I can't play lead guitar very well, so I fully admit that. But, like,
well, you have
singing,
to know Jesse, who you can import.
Yeah, but I don't want to import Jesse.
Well, you're probably just like me, where you enjoy when you say, "Hey, I made this thing." You enjoy the fact that you made all of it. It's not that I came up with an idea and then I had 5 other guys play all the parts. Like when I say I made a song, I literally made everything that you're hearing. I did. Like, no one else was involved. This was me alone. And
that's a way to achieve that.
I guess that's kind of selfish in a way, maybe, but I like when I say... Because I always even, like, put a disclaimer. If I play something for somebody and I didn't physically do all of it, or if I didn't physically, like... I didn't actually write this, I just made kind of an arrangement, whatever. It's like, oh, no, I didn't really make this. It's just it's a cover arrangement. It's, I didn't actually do all this stuff. I just had the idea. And I like being able to say, yeah, this was me, start to finish, 100%.
Right.
Like, if I didn't physically perform it, then I wrote the notes for my computer to perform it.
Exactly, which is why VSTIs are such a blessing.
Right.
Sorry for that, because I always had to mention VSTIs have been the best thing since Sliced Bread.
Yes.
I was like dead when I was trying to perform before. I was trying to even just cut a little simple album, and I was like, I can't play the guitar to save my life, even though I learned it. I suck at the piano after I gave up on the fugue, and now the only thing I could do is sing, and I sound like crap to myself. So I basically
everybody sounds like crap to themselves.
Indeed.
And basically my computer will do the magic.
Even singing.
Yeah, now it can do that. That's really scary, because there's a VST that can sing. I'm not talking about Vocaloid. There's another VST that can simulate singing.
Oh my.
In words.
You know what? Artists, be careful. You're just going to be taken over one day soon.
Vocaloid is definitely... Like, I mean, you can do it right and make it sound fairly human-like, but there's still a difference. Like, there's a lot of Vocaloid metal that that's come out. The people just... You like guitarists, people who produce music really well, can't sing, just use Vocaloid, and it's, it's a thing, and it's got a fan base. But then you have BABYMETAL, which is basically that same thing, but it has a real chick on it. Just a second. I'm going to link it just so there's an idea. And it's from the official channel, so there's no worries about it being... problematic.
Official channels?
Yeah, just a second.
BABYMETAL, is that a channel, an artist?
Yes, it is. It is an artist. Just a second. It's Japanese metal.
Japanese metal?
Would that be like Paramore or something?
No. It's literally like metalcore gent with a J-pop chick singer. It's called kawaii metal.
You see, this is the kind of song that I would expect out of a band called Tokyo Hotel. And then when I thought Tokyo Hotel, so what's this J-pop band that's popular in KL? Then it's like, no, they're not J-pop. They're from Europe.
Right.
Oh, can't watch the video. My internet sucks.
Sorry, but like, it's really cool because what I like about this particular one is that it actually includes like a shamisen too, which is a classic.
Yeah, I can hear it.
I'm just seeing that's hilarious.
It's so good though.
I'll try it later. So,
and there's like some trance synth in the background I can hear.
Yeah, it's like really good, and that the girl sings really well too, but it's not as thin or staid as like a Vocaloid, and that's the biggest difference. But that's what I mean. Like, Vocaloid is really good, but I don't think it could ever replace,
Oh, yeah.
this.
True.
And that'll be true. Maybe at some point in the future, synthesized instruments will get to that point. And there are some that are kind of there now. Like a lot of, piano stuff is great.
And drums.
But there's plenty of things that you can still tell. Like, yeah, the drum plugin that I use is good, but I can still tell it's not a real drum.
Yeah, drums.
You can still kind of tell if you're really listening, and as good as they are, they just lack that human element to them. Even if it sounds convincing, it's all real, actual drum sounds. It's just not played necessarily like a human would. I don't know. It's kind of hard to explain.
I understand. I understand.
It doesn't feel quite right,
Actually, Jesse, have you tried Make Music's human playback before?
I have not.
Because actually, that's a very interesting piece of software that I had. Well, obviously, I didn't buy it; I got it from somewhere else. But it's basically it gets a nice VST, the Garitan Personal Orchestra, and it uses Finale. You heard of Finale, right? The notation program.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, basically, the newer versions have this human playback engine that tries to vary MIDI pressure and tries to give a little bit of derp to the musician, so that it does sound like a human is playing it, and it's quite convincing actually in a way. You can even set it to, go wild on the rubato, and the fella just goes like, okay, that just goes full.
That's not a word.
But still, it's something.
Well, but even then, it's like, I use Easy Drummer for my drums. And
You
it's
use Easy
something
Drummer?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Sorry.
Do you use that?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, nice. Nice.
Could you link me to
So
that? I'd like to
know-
check it out.
So you know that, like, when you say play a snare drum, there's like 10 snare samples. So every time you play a snare drum, it's a different sample. And it sounds that way. Like, maybe, as if a human was hitting the drum. It's going to sound slightly different every time. But even as real as that sounds, it's still only programmed to do the, simple 2 patterns that I wrote out.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, it sounds great, and these are actual live drum samples, but he's playing like a robot because he is a robot.
But there's still ways you can get, if you want to take the time, which I typically do, because I'm a lame ass like that. I literally take the time to program inconsistencies in.
Oh yeah, and I'll do that a lot too. But sometimes I forget. And I'll be honest. And I listen to it later, it's like, wow, this drum part got really boring. Why did I think this was cool?
Well, and the advantage I have too is, like, with metal, like, there's variations. You have to do variations because of the way metal is. So, like, with ska, it's like, but with, like, metal, it's like, and, like, and you have just enough variation in the parts that you don't, it's not as worrisome. And sometimes, like, especially with harder metal, like, you don't want there to be too much variation. In fact, a lot of those guys play with samplers in like, like with their kick drums and stuff.
It's hard to play metal on the drums, full stop.
It is, but that's why.
I saw these drums with 2 bass drums for the first time in my life, and I'm like, so I need to have 3 legs now for the hi-hat. And it's like, no, you play the 2 bass drums. And I'm like, how hard can that be? And now I realize that my leg coordination is...
That's not a word.
Yeah,
it's hard, dude. It's hard.
Yeah, it is. It's really, really hard.
But like a lot of metal drummers, like for more extreme metal, will just use triggers. Like, it doesn't matter how hard they hit it; it always comes out the same way. And so, with more extreme metal, samples don't matter as much as long as you make sure that the cymbals and to a certain extent the snare have some variation. You can just have the kick drum go the whole time.
Yeah, that's so fast you can't really detect.
That is true.
That's what. But with the other stuff, I like if it's simple enough, like if it's just, I will play it, on a keyboard. I'll use a keyboard, like to play the drum part and then quantize it. And quantizing is like getting it in line with the grid because there's always a slight delay with MIDI.
The hardest part about music, transcription via MIDI is that it's the biggest
right
I've encountered.
And like if you're just doing a drum beat, I always just do the kick and snare first, and I play it as I would. And you always have to go in and do some surgery on it, but you get that to play it. You have natural variations in what you play, and what you do is you quantize it, but instead of quantizing it 100% to the grid, you just 80%, and the feeling you wanted is in there. And that's the easiest way to do it. And oh my god, this is turning into MBS Show, how to make music how.
How to make music.
I'm finally learning something, yay!
I will say, that's something that I've done before, but I don't do it very often because I'm really bad at keyboard. And so even playing drums on keyboard is hard for me. And when I try it, and it comes out just sounding very keyboard drummy instead of, live drums.
Well, the way you do it, really, is to do it in 2 passes. Do kick, snare, and maybe some toms. Or 3 passes. Kick, snare, maybe some tom fills, maybe not. I usually program in my tom fills.
I've done it that way. And I'm still just that bad at it.
Wow. And I thought I was bad at keyboard. There's a lot of songs.
I'm better at clicking out the drum part with a mouse than I am doing it in 3 or 4 takes on a keyboard.
See, I would rather do it in 3 or 4 takes, and then take that, 3 or 4 takes, and then adjust it. Go back in and adjust it, yeah.
That does make sense, you take it a few times and adjust it so you have something to adjust rather than a blank canvas.
Right, because, for me, if you just... It depends on what I'm doing, Jesse. I mean, if I'm doing... metal, whatever, I'll just click it because it's a lot easier that way, and then I'll copy paste like a mofo. But if I'm doing a pop song or something that needs a lot of groove, I did my funk song, All Confidential. The drums aren't complicated, but it doesn't matter because I played them and I just edited them a little bit. So there was a certain out of time things were in time, and oh man, it's the grooviest frickin' thing. I don't know if you've ever heard my song All Confidential, but I'm going to link it to you right now.
Of course. I mean, coming back to the fact about, notation stuff, I can understand how Jesse feels because, he does, being in ska, you can't tell the computer, hey, do a solo. The fella will be like, you know what?
Right.
You can't get them to go on their own strand of creativity, or they'll just send 1,000 MIDI signals to the drums and they'll just go wild. So, I can feel that because sometimes, you just want the drums to get imaginative on their own, and I'm not a drummer. I just learned because my brother has a drum set, and I can't play the same myself. I'm left-handed. So, I can't really imagine what a drum soloist would think of, so I have to call my brother to help me out with that.
Right.
Yeah. And quantization is another thing that really got me. It's I used to quantize playing 2 hands on a keyboard, and then, it goes into hyperscribe and finale, and I'll get carried away, and I suddenly pull a glissando, and I have a huge mess in front of my face.
Right. Glissandos are... what I'll do is I'll play it as straight as possible for MIDI, and then if there's glisses I want places, and, this is the difference between, live performance and recording. If there's a gliss I want, I will literally just go in and record that gliss and be done.
Really? Oh, okay.
Yeah, because I'll make sure that the main parts are good, and then if there's a gliss I want somewhere, I'll just be like, okay, this is where the gliss is going, this part won't be quantized.
Go back and punch it in.
And punch in the gliss. And that's a recording thing. Seldom anymore do I do full takes, except on bass, just because I'm full of pride. And I have a couple of producer friends who literally do this thing called pocketing, where you take every single part and make it as close to the matrix grid on the beat as possible. And that's done in a lot of pop music production, and I hate that. 90% of the time, I want it to be as human as possible, which is why I don't pocket at all. And any errors you hear in my playing, just humanize it for me. And I do a lot of, I do metal and, not technical metal. I do a more punkish sort of hard rock metal sort of deal. So for me, having that little bit of error just makes it more human rather than it being a machine. And I mean, don't get me wrong, I really like the way it sounds sometimes, but for myself, I don't really want it that on. And I can't sing on pitch to save my life, so I use Melodyne, but I always take care to be well, if that's an off note, but it doesn't sound bad, then I'll leave it.
Right. Yeah, you can't have it. If it's too perfect, then it sounds wrong.
I thought nobody uses Melodyne.
Oh, I always
Melodyne's a huge thing. I know a lot of people use it.
Yeah,
I thought it was dead.
Oh, no. Melodyne's far better.
Definitely not.
After Autotune took over, I thought they died.
No. Like, in fact, a lot of people use Melodyne to make autotune. Like, autotune's not really...
it's like a manual autotune.
Yeah, I know. I've been into Melodyne, and I'm like, this is cool. I just wish more people used it. And I'm like, okay, I'm wrong.
Oh, I use it all the time. Like, anytime you hear... Like, in pop music, maybe not. But probably still do, because Melodyne's a really powerful program. But for, like, stuff... And actually, Glaze uses Melodyne. So, you know...
No wonder how he got that effect.
Yeah, that's how he gets the effect.
Yeah. And I use the FL Studio version of it called the Pitcher, but it's the exact same idea. You know, you load a waveform into it, and you can adjust each note up and down, whatever, change the format, change the...
You can do that in FL?
All that crap. Yeah.
Damn, I need to get to learn FL now. I still think FL is an alien mothership control unit or something like that. I still can't understand it.
What do you normally use?
Mixcraft and Finale.
Wow.
And occasionally GarageBand when I'm in school.
Yeah, so, wow.
That'd be just for different stuff, though, you know? I mean, Finale obviously wouldn't be for making any, like... Well, I don't know if it can record live audio.
It can, and in fact, now it supports VST.
Huh. I did not know that. I'm very behind.
It's actually quite crazy. It's become a DAW on its own.
Still not as good as Sonar, which is what I use.
Of course, yes.
Bye.
Anyway, so, I mean, I've had a great time discussing this, but is there any other questions you'd like to ask me that aren't music-related? Because my days are wasted and I have things to do today.
Oh, okay, we're so sorry for keeping you for so long.
Oh, no, it's partially my fault, because I'm talking, like, I'm the one initiating a lot of this.
No, but I really appreciate you talking to us about this, because I tell you, I learned so much today about it, and finally I get to talk a bit more about stuff I like on the show.
So Norman, if you think this will make it too long an episode, just cut out this all music talk and be like, you know, the Cyril music out.
No, it's fun. It's fun. It's fun.
All right. So my usual question is, okay, I think you've already answered this, but maybe a little bit more detail. Why did you choose Cyril as a name?
Yes. Well, Cyril, I did kind of touch on it, but I didn't really give the specific reason. It's actually a very boring story. I wrote a short story in the 7th grade. I wrote a short story in the 7th grade that was actually based on Magic the Gathering. And I was like, I used to use Icarus a lot, because the song Flight of Icarus by Iron Maiden is one of my favorites. And that mythology always got to me. I like wings and blah, 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 blah. But basically I was like, Icarus is so overdone. What name can I use? So this was when, like, the internet was still new, and behindthenames.org was, like, still, like, super in use. And I'm like, behindthenames.org, let's see, Cyril, it means Lord. Oh, that's a fantastic main character name. Yeah, I'll start using it online, too, you know? And for a while I had this, like, dual personality thing. Yeah, Cyril Icarus lives in my head, and I have multiple personalities. Oh, my God, it was
Cyril the Icarus.
Cyril the Icarus. But no, but you know, and that's where it came from. And then the Wolf came later when I just account got hacked, and I just decided to make a new one, just call it Cyril the Wolf, which wasn't taken at the VG Music and OC Remix forums. And just because I was considering Ukami, but the more I thought about it, the more lame that sounded. So I was like, I'll just call myself Cyril the Wolf and be done with it. And it sounded cool. And now, you know, Cyril the Wolf is a big name in the brony music scene. Yeah. I'm kidding. I have no delusions that I'm a quote-unquote big name, although people do know who I am. So, anyway.
Yeah, when I found out your name is Connor, I'm like, why Cyril the Wolf? Why didn't you go for, like, someone in the Connor family and just, I know that's cliche, but yeah.
Cyril Connor.
Cyril the... Yeah, Cyril the Connor.
I mean, your name's pretty awesome.
No, has to be with an ER.
Because it was hardwired into me by looking at the way that you clean all the songs you produce is that Cyril the Wolf. His name must be Cyril. What else?
I know. It's great. It's really funny because yesterday on Facebook, somebody actually named Cyril liked my page, and and I just found that funny. I'm like, I don't even know who this dude is. Like, he doesn't have the language, so.
Do throw us a link to your page, we'll put it in the show notes.
Yes.
So,
yes, it's, go ahead.
I got a question here. You said you were EQD pre-listeners. So how does that work? Like last week we got a EQD pre-reader. Now we got a listener. So this is going to be interesting.
Oh, well, I don't know how it works for the pre-readers, but for us, we have a Skype chat. We have 2 Skype chats. We have the chat, and then we have the voting room. And Seth listens to the submissions he gets and takes out the really, really bad ones. And the ones that he's not sure of, he sends to us to either yes, which is Spotlight, no, which is don't even post on the site, and X, which is Music of the Day. Music of the Day being a very recent thing that, needs to happen.
Uh-huh.
And, the idea is, like, Music of the Day, you still get views. Yes. And so, that's basically how it works. And you listen and we vote and, we try to give reasoning for it in case somebody asks. I just kind of keep a tally of it. Somebody asks me, like, why was my song rejected? Now, that being said, like, I'm not going to know why everybody's song is rejected because I know there's certain ones that Seth is just like, no, this isn't the site. And it's usually because it's really, like, awful. Although I've heard some fairly not good things come into the pre-listener section. And sometimes, I'll give a Music of the Day, even if it's not the most perfectly produced thing, if the idea and concept was decently well executed. If somebody has a terrible mic and they rapped really well, I'll do it. If they rapped poorly and have a terrible mic, no, it's not going on the site for me.
What if they rapped poorly and had a great mic?
I will say no to that unless they have some other, like, if they made the beat and the beat is amazing, and they had MC Floney, who is a rapper who's, like, probably one of the best in the brony rap scene to me. If they had MC Floney on it, and he always drops a good flow. If they have MC Floney on it and it's well produced, then I'll be like, you know what, this can go as Music of the Day just because of MC Floney. Only because of MC Floney. Because it has a redeeming quality to it. It's pleasant to listen to. You have to get through the not so great rap, but then you get MC Floney and it's worth it. So.
And if you get a bad rapper with a good mic, you're going to be hearing a lot of...
Not that kind of rapper, Daniel.
Sound effects. Normally you need to upgrade the recording equipment for this.
Oh, you, Dan, with your literal jokes.
It was pieces of paper. It's like he's looking at paper. God damn it, never mind.
Some people must wonder why it's Cyril Rufus. Actually, here's a funny story about that. I didn't have a YouTube. My YouTube used to be Icarus Avion. Which was, my username before I chose Cyril, and it was just something I had. And then I was like, Cyril, I was going to do Cyril the Wolf, but that was taken. And then Cyril the Wolf 1 was also taken. It was taken by a guy who was a furry, and he also uploaded one of my songs. And he credited me. Said it wasn't his. He linked to my Newgrounds, but he still had Cyril the Wolf on YouTube. And I'm like, dude, what the F? And this is before you could have spaces and stuff in your name. So Cyril Rufus, and of course Cyril Lupus, Lupus is the common gray wolf, was taken. Rufus is red wolf, and that's the only thing. And that came from a guy I knew I made a theme for him, and he had this character called Cyril the Red. And I was like, well, there you go, Cyril the Red Wolf, Cyril Rufus, done. And I wasn't going to do something dumb like Cyril Wolf, because there's actually a doctor in Texas called Dr. Cyril Wolf. And then there's also...
man.
Yeah, right? I still dominate the first, 8 pages of, if you just search Cyril the Wolf of Google, but... And then I wasn't going to call myself something stupid like Cyril Z Wolf or, anything dumb like that. So I was like, yeah.
The wolf named Cyril.
Yeah, right. So, it was just one of those things that came out of necessity, and I never bothered changing it, and I have 3,500 subs, and I really don't want to.
Yeah, that's the thing about YouTube names. You just got to live it down.
Yep.
It's like I look back, I have 50 subs, and now I'm like, why the hell did I put a Harry Potter and a Lilo and Stitch fan reference in my name when I'm a brony?
Well, and
10 years ago.
Me as being a brony, I never really, I considered changing my name for a brony thing, and I'm like, no, because, some people are like, no, I'm going to have a non-pony thing, and it's going to be separate. And it's like, for me, it's like, look, take it or leave it. If you like my stuff, realize that I don't just make pony music. I never really have. Even when the brony fandom was in its, massive explosion phase and everything was, hunky-dory and innocent and good, 2 years ago, I released a non-pony song called Change on my channel, and I was like, look, this is a non-pony song. Deal with it. and it didn't get quite as many views, but like a lot of my fans were very supportive, and I'm like, this is exactly what it needs to be for me. I'm not going to take the time, like I'm not going to hide any part of what I do, because that to me is silly. Just because bronies, are, you know what I mean? Like, just because bronies have a bad rap in places, and there are some really questionable people, I don't care. Like, it's like, if you can't see past my pony stuff, then I really don't care if you listen to my music. It's kind of like the idiot film.
True.
Yeah,
I mean,
I agree with that, and that's why I have mine set up the way I do, is because it's like, I make these songs, and sometimes I make, non-pony related songs or anything, and like you said, they don't get as many views or as much attention because pretty much all of my subscribers are, like pony fans and whatever, so whenever I put out a non-pony song, it kind of goes maybe a little bit more unnoticed, but I don't really care. Like, it's all just part of what I do. Like, sometimes I do this, sometimes I do that. So, whatever.
True.
Deal with it.
That's true, because if you like the artist, you're gonna like everything he does. If you just like the artist for one specific genre, then good on you.
Right. And to me, it's like, it's okay if you don't like certain of my material, okay, or if you don't like the direction I'm going, that's fine. Like, you don't have to listen to me. I appreciate your support if you do. Like, like when Linkin Park started moving away from their new metal stuff and into more like pop-ish, like alt rock territory. Right. They lost a bunch of fans, but it's like, they were doing what they wanted to do. Yeah. What I hate, and I'm going to go on a little bit of rant here, is people who are entitled and think that try to say, oh, you have to do this. Like, people, like, I unfortunately don't have very many fans like that. If any, I haven't seen any, but, I don't have any fans like that. But, like, people like Alex S., it's like, why don't you do any more pony music? It's like, he doesn't want to. Like, it's his choice, you frick. Like, he's going to lose a listener, but, like, he's going to lose a listener in you, but, like, it probably doesn't want you anyway if the only thing you liked him for was Pastel Equins, like, for me, it's like, if you like me for Pastel Equins, great. If you can continue liking what I do there. If I stop, that you're gonna probably leave. But if you like everything I do because it's what I do, then even better,
True.
Because I've done like Rush covers and stuff, and ponies might sometimes still be in my media because I kind of like my OC as sort of a representation. But I also have my logo, which doesn't have any pony relation.
I was going to ask about how that came about, but never mind, that can wait.
My logo?
I know what it is, but why that particular design, and how did that come about?
I don't know. I needed a logo when I was going to release my first album. And I wanted something that wasn't just my OC, because I like using my OC, but at the same time I wanted something different. And I went to Fearsome Finagle, who is a graphic designer, and he designed something, and it worked really, really well for me. I was like, this works perfectly for me. It's at the same time harsh, but also soft in a kind of weird way. And actually, if you look, at first I was going to have Cyril The Wolf, like Skrillex style, Then I realized that he actually mentioned that, like, a lot of people think that they need to have their entire name out there, as a logo, but that's not the case. Like, if you have a really good logo, it'll represent you in a way that makes sense. And I'm like, you know what, you're right, do that. And he came up with that, which is actually, it looks like just a CW, but if you look, there's a couple of little things that have the T there.
I actually noticed the T from the start.
Okay, good. Well, most people just see the CW. I mean, but that's the thing. Like, it's a very nice logo that works for a lot of different things. Like, there's no, you know what I mean? It's just you see that and it's like, oh, that's Cyril the Wolf. He's coming.
Yes. And Jesse, you need to get a better logo, because that's the only thing that I know that looks like you. Your SoundCloud avatar.
Well,
that is like. Brony
Jesse is a horse.
Well, at least you know how to cosplay as Jesse Carlson when you go to any convention.
That's a damn good OC right there.
True.
Which one?
The Hypno Pony.
Same OC, isn't it, you know?
Oh, the Hypno Pony. That's the best one.
Because it's like Jesse Carlson's in my music library and there's no album art. It's like, okay.
Is it all just me in a horse mask while wearing a hot dog costume?
No, there's nothing there. Because if like I start driving and I look at my playlist and I see this horse mask dude in a hot dog, I probably won't be alive today.
That is me.
I know it's you, and that's why I asked you that on Brony Time.
Oh boy.
I had to ask that. It was like, that dude in the horse mask and hot dog suit, is that you? He's like, yeah, it's me. I'm like, okay.
Oh boy. This is gonna be fun.
And then you're going with this kind of Slipknot identity where now even in your Skype picture you're not showing your real face.
I don't think I've ever posted a picture of my real face.
True. I haven't.
But it's all how you want to represent yourself. Like it's if you don't want to show your face, there's goods for that. Or if you just kind of have your face, or in this case, my chest hair. Like if you're known for something, that's fine too. Like it's all how you want to present yourself. And sometimes you don't have a choice, and most of the time, it's like, hey, yeah, there you go.
I usually kind of keep to myself. I mean, I don't want to say like, oh, I'm secretive or something, but I don't know. Like I don't try to give away like personal info or anything, but I don't mind posting pictures of like what I'm doing, what I'm drinking, whatever. But I don't. And like I don't think I've ever posted a picture of my actual face, but
it's that semi-anonymity.
Yeah, like I'll use my name, but I don't have my face, so maybe I might be a different Jesse Carlson. You never know.
Well, I'm sure you're not a baseball player, unless I've found you.
You know what? There is. The Blue Jays have a backup pitcher named Jesse Carlson. So when you Google my name, you come up with some MLB.
That's not a word.
Yeah, the Google Knowledge Graph actually shows that up. And I'm like, he plays baseball too?
I'm actually one and the same. I do all this stuff and play baseball. Yep.
Awesome.
You have this omnipresence where you're in the broadcast studio as well.
Somehow, at the same time, I can do it all.
Oh, and there's this guy from Saskatoon who has Schwarzenegger.com on his Twitter for some reason.
Oh,
Which I don't understand. But
okay.
At any rate.
Oh, then.
More questions?
Well, my question, I don't know. I mean, for the first time in my life, I got no idea what to ask.
Yay, touche!
Well, I do have, but
70 episodes.
I do have, but why not? Why not? So, Cyril, you playing any video games now?
Kind of.
Guitar Hero.
Well, I like doing Guitar Hero mostly just to show off. I can sing like Painkiller and stuff.
Oh.
Yeah, like that's the first thing I did at Cutie Mark Con. I was like, I'm gonna sing Painkiller. Really? I do so. Oh, I'm gonna sing Number of the Beast by Iron Maiden. Oh. And then I sang Discord. He's like, dude, don't, because apparently, everybody had been requesting to sing Discord. And he's like, okay, look, you're the only person who can come sing Discord now. I was like, yes! Mission accomplished.
Booked.
But that's what that is. But no, I'm not, I'm just kind of going through Mega Man Zero right now on my DS Lite, just because that's fun. I was kind of I can actually live stream a tiny bit. I'm not, my live stream, my computer sucks, so I can't really live stream too much, but what I can do is stream, Mega Man Battle Network, because I can do GBA ROMs okay. So I've been playing a little bit of that. And that's about what I've been playing. I haven't been playing any really new games. I do play Dota and League of Legends a little bit, but, I haven't played in a while. I've just been too busy. So.
Oh, okay, it's cool. Understandable. Dota and LOL is pretty good. So
kind of coming back to that since there are most of us are musicians here. How do you say? Any of you play music games? Like Audio Surf?
No.
No. Okay. I've always wondered why.
I like the idea of audio stuff. I like watching audio stuff, but playing it is just like not my thing. Like DDR, I'm bad at. Guitar Hero, I'm competent with, but like I just don't have the system to play it. So, for music games, it's like, yeah, I respect these and I like them, but I just don't play them regularly.
By any chance, do you know of Frets on Fire?
Yeah, it's on the computer, but like at the same time, I just, it'd be the same thing as why I didn't do Stepmania very well.
Okay.
I got one here, and you mentioned that you have your own show that's called Cyril Silly Show.
Oh God, yeah.
Where's that
airs
being
on
posted?
8bitex.com on Tuesdays at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, or Eastern Daylight Time.
Done live?
Yeah, it's done live. I'm actually really bad at podcasts because like it takes effort beyond the 2 hours it requires to just do the show
don't
live.
worry. I mean, we are 70 plus episodes in, and we're still trying to figure it out.
But no, like the podcasting part is just like usually it's just a recording of the stream. I don't like, but I still am really lazy because I try to produce it so like it's loud enough if you're in your car. There's not too much of a volume difference between the songs we play. But I go on 8bitex.com because the Cyril Silly Show actually started before I was a brony, and it was mostly a video game music type talk show, video game talk show, and 8bitex.com took me in, and I do my stuff over there. And it's a lot of fun. It's just basically, we usually sometimes read fan fiction. I usually get drunk, although I haven't had the money to get drunk lately, so had a little less of the drunking.
So,
Homebrew, baby, homebrew.
oh no.
Yeah. Talk to Pixel Kid. To teach you.
Don't have the space for that. I would love to homebrew, but I don't have the space, and the money, it's like on par with how much money it is here because you have to buy things by the case in Pennsylvania.
Oh my.
So Pennsylvania's Pennsylvania's liquor laws are a pain in the ass, Jesse. Anyway,
the laws in the States, I thought that's something that we only find in Islamic countries like over here.
No, man. Well, you got to think the Pennsylvania Dutch and the Amish.
Good point. Okay, yeah.
So, you can't buy anything. You have to buy beer from beer distributors, and it has to be in 24 count cases. But it's cheaper that way, and the beer is generally cheaper, because it's $18 for a Yingling. For a 24 pack of Yingling, which is fairly inexpensive for beer.
Oh, but Yingling's not a pricey beer to begin with.
Yingling's not a pricey beer, but it's better than
But
and of course the Yingling plant's an hour away, so
yeah.
So it's even cheaper than if you get it elsewhere. Yingling is not pricey. Of course, a thing of Sam Adams is $40 almost, but
oh my god,
dude! I can't imagine that.
You have to get it in that big thing. So I only get Yingling, and you have to get liquor from a beer, a liquor distributor. It has to, the state run, and you can't buy small. They have the small sample ones, but if you want to get anything, it's gonna be $7.50 or more.
Oh my gosh,
dude! So that's all.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's pretty balls. So I can't really go out. I can't justify spending $20. Now the only exception is there's a loophole. You can get 6-packs, but you have to get 6-packs. From restaurants.
Oh my.
I thought you were going to say you have to get 6-packs in 6-packs.
No, you can go, Wegmans is the only place because they're part restaurant that you can, there's an exception with. Because, they have a restaurant, so they, basically do their takeout beer from their restaurant portion.
I see. So is it, in glasses or in cans? Or bottles?
Well, either. But from restaurants, it's always bottles, but you can get it from cans or bottles.
I was thinking, 6 from the tap.
Oh my.
No. They have bottles. Most bars have bottles. You obviously can't bring that craft. You can do growlers, yes. You can do growlers too. But it's it's generally more expensive because you're getting it from a restaurant. There's no place you can get growlers in just a supermarket.
I suddenly feel so lucky and blessed to live in Georgia.
So we have the problems here as well. Beer is almost double the price of whatever it is outside of this country because, Islamic country and the laws are pretty tight on alcohol and stuff.
Yeah, it's not that bad.
It's not that bad because you don't drink.
No, the thing is, it's not that bad like how Cyril has it because basically you can buy it from anywhere.
Yeah, we can buy it from anywhere here. It's just expensive.
Yeah, true that, but still you can buy it from anywhere because
I'd rather buy it in bulk.
Yeah, you could buy 1 can, you can buy a 6-pack, you can buy 12, one carton. So it's not that bad. Like how Cyril has it, it's really bad from the sounds of
really
it.
The way
Funny, 'cause
I have it.
I grew up in
Alright.
New York. So, New York, you could just go to, like, the convenience store, grab a tall boy, and then go home and have a beer, for, like, $2, have a beer for the night. Whereas in here, it's like, oh, I want beer, I don't have any beer. Oh, I've got to go drop $20.
Oh, damn.
My.
And, and have 24 beers hanging around. It's like, I only wanted one beer, like, I drink a lot, but...
I guess to
and
be
it's like,
fair, I usually try and buy the 30-pack of Keystone. Man, 30 Stone? That's what I'm all about.
Keystone,
Dude, that's fine. Keystone Light is my absolute favorite beer. I will go on record saying, if I had one beer for the rest of my life, it would be that.
Oh boy.
Because it's the same thing as Coors Light, but for cheaper. How can you beat that? How can you beat that?
Coors is terrible too.
I will also go on record as saying I recognize that it's not as good as other beers, but for the money, it's unbeatable.
But Yingling is not that expensive.
I actually enjoy the taste of it, and I would be happy drinking it forever.
Well, that's good for you, but to me, it's sewer water. So the only thing, like honestly, like okay, Keystone is one thing, and Coors is one thing. But what really ticks me off is like people who drink natural or nat beer.
Dude, Natty Light, you can't have that. No.
Yeah, Natty Light is like sewer water. It's so bad.
Here's the thing. Like the difference is that Natty Light and Bud Light are not the same thing. It's like bad beer gone to
That's not a word.
beer. But like Coors Light to Keystone Light, it's like, well, we'll put one in this can, and then we'll take the same beer and put it in this other can and sell it for less money. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely not the same thing. Like natural light is bad. Natural ice is yours. What?
You have Carlsberg there by any chance?
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
Carlsberg? Well, I haven't seen any, of course.
I don't know how
I'm apparently in like the beer capital here, Georgia. I never imagined, but we have these wonderful liquor stores that sell everything. You can go; it's one-stop shop, man. You go in, you get beer, you get liquor, you get limes and chips and mixers and anything.
Oh, that's interesting.
'Cause they'll sell not only beer and liquor and wine, but also non-alcoholic things like snacks and mixers.
Oh yeah, that's the way it was in New York. It's great because like
It's
just
one-stop
Pennsylvania,
shopping.
man.
It's awesome.
We have that here, but unfortunately here we've got to play like Cyril. We got to buy it in bulk, unless you're in the airport, of course.
No, 100%.
Oh yeah,
buy
the airport.
a bottle, or I could buy 100 bottles. Doesn't make any difference to them.
I mean,
Yeah.
mainly for the Chinese weddings, because when there's a Chinese wedding here, they have cartons of Black Label waiting outside the hall. So that's basically why they have these kind of shops, because they make a big business. People get married every day.
True
Yeah,
indeed.
Yeah.
So, Jesse, I want to ask something. You said you're in Georgia, right?
Yep.
Fort Collins?
I'm in the Atlanta area, actually.
From what I heard, there's this one brewery in Fort Collins called Left Hand Brewery. It's pretty good.
Oh,
from
that's in Colorado, though.
Oh,
I have been there. And that's Left Hand is actually in Longmont, Colorado.
Oh.
It's where my uncle and cousins live there. And so every time we go to visit them, we go to the Left Hand Brewery, which is an amazing place. If you can ever go, do it. Because some breweries charge you money. Left Hand, it's New Belgium, which is not far from where they live. But the New Belgium Brewery, man, you walk in and they go, "Oh, let me see your ID. Okay, you're 21. Here's 6 bottle caps for 6 free beers." It's amazing. You get free
That is
beer
amazing.
For just walking in?
Yeah, just for walking in, they give you free beer. Anything they make, you can have it on tap.
The American dream is waiting right there.
That's
for people
ridiculous.
like me.
So
It's all in Colorado.
I mean, there's a beer fest going on today. I just don't have the money to go to. Like that's not let me just say this though. There is a huge beer culture in Pennsylvania. It's just it's not because there's so many microbreweries here. So many great places. Like there's a place called there's guys called the Trogue Brothers, and they make amazing beer, and they're like in Hershey Park or Harrisburg.
I will say this. Of the large American brands that people love to hate, Miller, Coors, Pabst, Schlitz, all that stuff, if it were not for those beers, those brands, America wouldn't have survived Prohibition.
Oh yeah, it's true. I mean,
You were allowed to have Yingling too. Okay, but you're allowed to have things like Sam Adams. You're allowed to have things like Left Hand, and any of your favorite craft breweries now, because of Pabst, Schlitz, Miller, Coors, Anheuser-Busch, all that. So I have no problem supporting our large.
That's not a word.
But national beers, because hey, if it weren't for them, I couldn't have had anything better. And so I'm perfectly happy giving Miller Coors Incorporated my $20 for 30 beers.
You know how you can get more money to those? Because like freaking Miller Coors owns like Monster or something too. So just go buy Monster. You don't have to buy their shitty beer.
I'm not gonna.
That's not a word.
Energy.
I wish I could say the same about here, because we have. Okay, we basically have a central brewery, and then Carlsberg is in a world of their own. And as much as you say Bud Light and Coors Light taste like sewer water, I would do almost anything to try that, because I've never tried it in my life. And given that...
Oh, no, of course, I understand. It's one of those things. Try it first. Like, I've had these beers, and I determined they're sewer water. I will say you're not missing anything, Daniel, but, if I ever get a chance to have you try it by, like, somehow getting that to Malaysia, then,
I went to, to Germany, Austria, that area, and it was almost offensive to me to see Germans and Austrians ordering Budweiser at a bar. And it happened.
Dude, are you mad?
It happened all the time. And I'm like, dude, not 5 miles from here, they make the best beer in the world, and you're ordering Budweiser at a bar. That's an import. You're paying extra money. That cost me $1.50.
Their logic is like
3 or 4 euros for that. What's wrong with you?
Their logic is like this.
It comes into my mind when I go to a craft brewery and they order from the tap. I'm like, dude, what the hell?
I can see those Germans like, ja, this is good American beer, right? Ja.
It's Budweiser. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, it's really funny because, like, if you go to Canada and have Budweiser in Canada, it's actually better than Budweiser in the U.S. as far as, like, being a beer.
And I know that it's different in Germany. It is different, but it's like, come on, man. Like, when we're at Salzburg, Austria, they make the best beer in the world. If you ever get a chance to go there, and not only say, oh, Mozart was born there. Who cares? The point is, there's a place called the Augustiner Brau Beer House, and they make literally, I mean, it's my opinion, but it's pretty much fact, it's the best beer in the world, period. Like, the best way to describe it is this beer is wet. It's a wet beer. Like, you drink it, and it quenches your thirst. You feel like you're drinking water, but you get drunk. And it's just awesome. You sit outside in this garden, it's like gravel and trees, and there's giant barrels of beer everywhere, and you're in Austria, and like Mozart was born there, and the Alps, and dude, it's the best thing you could possibly experience. Go there, and trust me, you'll have a good time.
Okay, I think with that note, we can end the show there.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
The MBS show goes to Austria.
Indeedy. So anyway, that was rather interesting.
Just actually one last question. I just had to ask this. How many of you? But Jesse, have you tried homebrew?
Homebrew, I have tried it. I've tried it once, and it was okay. I have several friends that do it, and they are amazing at it, and it's awesome. I highly recommend it.
Because I'm trying to find the secret to it. I don't know if it's just the crappy weather we're getting here in Malaysia, but it is impossible. It is really, really difficult. And the trouble is that we have to buy stuff from overseas for it because they don't sell the beer stuff.
Yeah.
They don't grow it here either.
So
I'm trying to find the secret.
Well, try beeradvocate.com. They might have something for you there.
Dude, where do you think I get all my facts from?
Indeedy. So anyway, that was our guest, Cyril The Wolf, and also Jesse Carlson mixing in with some nice drinkies.
Yes.
So
yeah, thank you for having me on, guys.
No problem. So, Cyril, where can people find you?
Oh, people can find me in a bunch of different places. If you want to find me on Twitter, I'm Cyril The Wolf. If you want to find me on Tumblr, I'm Cyril Music. If you want to find me on Facebook, it's also Cyril Music. If you want to find me on YouTube, it's Cyril Rufus. That's Rufus. And if you want to find me on SoundCloud, I'm also Cyril The Wolf. So those are the places you can follow me and find me and listen to my stuff. And of course, I have OC remixes, and I have a bunch of other hidden tracks. If you just look for Cyril The Wolf, you'll find me doing something for somebody. So
awesome. And Jesse, where can they find you?
You can find me on YouTube at JCarlson04, and you can find me, I guess, on Twitter if you care to follow a Twitter account that never updates at JCarlson04.
Oh, Jesse, you need to play around with Twitter. It's fun.
5 Iron yells at me a lot because I don't.
Yeah, I've noticed. So, moving on to the next topic is shoutouts. And my shoutout goes to you, Cyril, and Jesse, and also Dan. Thank you for getting the awesome guests.
No problem.
And for you guys, thank you for coming on this very, very derpy episode.
You're welcome. It was fun times.
I'd like to give a shout out to a guy named Metalcore Pony. I have no idea why just specifically, but Metalcore Pony is on YouTube. Also, Equestrian Lord. A couple of the brony metal guys who don't get a lot of attention, but really should get a little bit more. And also, just if you're not necessarily a Malaysian brony who listens to MBS, go to Fiesta Equestria in Houston. I'd love to see you there.
True indeed. I hope some Asian brony goes there. Asian from Asia, not Asian local American. That's cheating.
Now you just head on over to the Baltimore airport and knock 7 times on the landing gear wheel. I'll come out.
That's racist. So, Dan, what about you?
Okay, first of all, a big shout out to Saber Spark and Paleo for the launch of called The Brony Chronicles. Yes, The Brony Chronicles documentary. I haven't got time to finish it yet, but it's already looking really, really awesome. You guys did an amazing job with it. I'm so proud, to have actually talked to you all on this show before. And yeah, I think everyone knows about my whole deal with Saber Spark and how I almost just, wet myself when he came on, for lack of a better word.
And that's about it?
Nice.
Oh, no, one more right here. I'd like to shout out to Cyril The Wolf particularly because that is the best Facebook page description I've ever seen.
Oh, the music permeates the soul, then it's an expression or something?
Cyril The Wolf is an outlet. Music is all around, inside and without. It permeates the soul.
Yeah, I think I was drunk when I wrote that.
Get drunk more often. That's good stuff.
Oh my, so...
I'll take you out for a beer when I see you. Maybe 10 beers. Then we can come up with some really crazy stuff together.
Now we're talking.
All right. Man.
So,
down to Malaysia.
what about you, Jesse? What about you, Jesse?
Austria.
Yeah, man. As for me, I don't have any shout-outs, if I'm honest.
Oh, okay, it's cool.
My bad. I know.
That's
no,
cool.
Jesse.
So anyway, if you have any concerns, questions, or suggestions for the show, you can contact us at mbsshow@gmail.com. And if you would like to email us personally, you can reach us. Well, you can reach me at norman@mbsshow.com and Daniel at mbsshow.com. I'm getting tongue twisted right now. So anyway, you can also reach us on Twitter. Twitter is really active. You hear that, Jesse? Get on Twitter more often. So you can reach
we reply, we promise. We don't know who's operating the account. Sweetie Bot's always up.
True indeed. So anyway, you can reach the show's Twitter account at thembsshow.com. I'm at Norman Sanzo.
I'm at Saint Pinkie, STPINKIE.
And Cyril, you have Twitter?
Oh yeah, at Cyril The Wolf.
And Jesse, you're at Jesse Carlson 04?
It's J Carlson 04, actually.
Okay, J Carlson 04. I'll add them in. I hope more people follow you and keep hounding you to post more stuff. So anyway, also please subscribe and rate us on iTunes and Stitcher Radio, and also like our Facebook page. Links will be provided in the show notes. So I have been Norman Sanzo.
I've been Daniel Anthony.
I have been Cyril The Wolf.
And I'm Jesse Carlson.
And we'll see you guys next week. Bye.
Bye-bye.
What defines you in a starry blue darkness, your venue, canvas of infinite view. Goddess of the night, the moon shines its light, each star shimmering bright, inspiration fills my mind. Luna, show me the way. I'm blinded during the day. Luminescence you get melts away the regrets of the limited palette, it doesn't show it mathematically perfect. A beautiful star, stars to live my dreams. Guiding my path, so it seems. Luna, show me the way. I'm blinded during the day. Luminescence you get melts away the regrets of the I'm never alone. You're soft like rose. Please don't leave. Little princess of my show me the way. I'm blind during the day. Luminescence you get melts away the regrets of the
So anyway, give me a second.
Cyril's chest hair. Wow.
Give me a second.
Yeah.
Dan is not in. I need to see. I need to
Yeah.
double check his name.
Dropped out.
I'm gonna do a physical call. I hope he answers the phone.
Oh man. But no, it's
I'm gonna put
Man,
him on
I don't-
speaker. No, let it ring
This
first.
is-
When he's answer the call, just see.
it's been Cyril monologue
Hello.
for 3 minutes.
Gonna finish, so give me a few minutes.
Okie dokie dokie. Everybody's you're on speaker right now.
I know, I can hear. Wow, international call much?
This is your fault, This is your fault.
No. You don't get it right now.
So, how long till your PC starts up?
No, the PC starts. It's just Skype that crashed. It's not the whole thing, and Skype just got in. It's connecting, and
Windows 8?
my laptop's under service.
Oh.
All right, I'm back in 3. All right, I'm back.
All right.
We like to say Murica, but that'll be a little offensive.
Oh, dude, ballpark hot dogs have the most American commercial ever. It's so amazing. It's like, how do you know you're eating a ballpark hot dog? Because it's made with real 100% real beef and a dash of freedom. And then, the American flag just, comes out behind it. It's like, when people ask if you're free to eat this hot dog, you say, of course I am. Because America. And then a freaking bald eagle lands on the dude's arm while he's eating a hot dog. I'm like, are you kidding me?
The only way to make that commercial better would be, hey, you know how it's a real ballpark, Frank? Because it's not made with horses. Yeah. And then put take that, Britain.
And then there'll be President Obama next to you with it.
Oh, boy.
Nothing screams America more right now than President Obama.
I would just go